Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is Sports
I'm
Center.
Kevin Winter. Tiger Woods said he was lucky to be alive, and he's lucky to still have use of his right leg. Woods spoke publicly today at the Hero World Challenge in the Bahamas, his event. One his charity sponsors. It was Tiger's first public comment since his February car crash that severely wounded both legs, his right leg more so than his left. In terms of seeing Tiger play golf again, oh, trust me, Tiger Woods said he wants to play golf. However, not sure when that's going to be. He did say it would not be on a full-time basis, however, because those days are long gone. It would be more like what happened with Ben Hogan decades ago. Brian Kelly is gone, and now the first big loss of a committed recruit happened today for Notre Dame. All-America defensive back Devin Moore announced his decommitment, and he's back on the recruiting market. Time now to play the game of how many phone interviews has Notre Dame alum Mike Golick Jr. done since the news broke last night that Brian Kelly was headed to LSU. We're going to set the over-under at 5. The requests at 15. Kenny and Golick Jr., however, are next all across the ESPN radio networks.
Coming up Wednesday, we'll see what the coaching carousel has in store for us this time. Plus, we'll react to the latest rankings and what happens if Notre Dame does make the playoff. That's Wednesday morning on Keyshawn, J. Will and Max on ESPN Radio.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Well, what an interesting 24, 36, 48 hours in sports. I mean, good thing we have 3 hours to talk sports here on a daily basis. We have plenty to talk about here on a Tuesday edition of Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. It's Tuesdays from Top Golf. And welcome aboard here on ESPN 690. Kind of fired up for today's show. We got a lot to talk about. I always like that. We'll go around the NFL, including who's the strangest team in the NFL right now. I mean, there are a bunch of candidates. I've got one that sticks out to me, though. So we'll get to around the league a little bit later on. More about the Jags. We'll hear from James Robinson. Last night on Jags Report Live, we asked him about sitting out for as many plays. He was obviously a big topic yesterday. I feel like I'm finally getting over that. And maybe that's just because of all the news that's kept me busy.
Yeah.
But it did take me a little while to get over that.
Sure.
And I'm still not sure I'm completely over that. Coming up at 5 each and every Tuesday, except for the last two, Josh Scobie joins us for Tuesdays at Top Golf. And also, finally, you know how long I've been working on this.
You've been very persistent on this one.
I have, every week. I
Yep.
text him. And Zach Miller, former Jags tight end, former Chicago Bears tight end.
Yeah.
And he's got a new job now, and we're going to talk to him. He'll join, of course, former teammates of you and Josh.
For sure.
And, I mean, thanks for really trying to hook it up, by the way. I mean, I had to pepper him. You guys, he obviously didn't like you guys as teamemates because you guys had zero influence to get him on.
And that's just how we roll as former teammates, man. Like, if he wants to come on, he can come on. But, I mean, I'm not in the realm of bothering people. That's more your job.
That is my job.
So
Pretty
we
good at
appreciate it. Yeah, so we appreciate it.
I'm relentless.
Yes, you are.
Is what they say.
Yeah, for sure.
So anyway, we'll have that coming up. Looking forward to it. How about the college coaching circle, man? I mean, it's nuts. There's a lot of different ways to go here, and it all ends up back in the lap of here in Jacksonville and Urban Meyer, who essentially has already said through folks that he's not interested. He's staying the course here in Jacksonville, and we'll get to that part of it. But just overall, I mean, is this good for college football? Is it bad for college football? Does it matter? We all get sick about the money. The money seems so extreme. Should we someday put a cap on this thing? I mean, what are your thoughts as you go Lincoln Riley from a great program in Oklahoma, a legacy program, to USC? Obviously a very good program and hasn't been what it should. And now Notre Dame, man. I mean, we got a guy leaving Notre Dame, and he's been winning at Notre Dame and going to LSU, which also is a great job, but he left Notre Dame.
Yeah. Yeah, to me, see, this isn't going to change. Like, this is just what college football is now. in terms of millions of dollars you can accumulate. And obviously you're always trying to chase the next big thing if you're a coach, because it's like I always say, it's not about the money, it's what the money says, and if Chip Kelly, I mean, we'll see what that looks like. And Lincoln Riley, we kind of saw the reports a little bit, the rumors. We'll see what the final results look like in that. But obviously that money says that, hey, we want you extremely bad. And it's good to be at places where you're wanted. That being said, though, if you talk about Chip Kelly go from Oklahoma to USC, you talk about Kelly. I'm sorry. You talk about what did I just say?
Kelly.
Yeah, Brian Kelly. I'm sorry, Brian Kelly going from Notre Dame to LSU, or Lincoln Riley going from Oklahoma to USC. These are just, to me, they're stagnant moves. To me, Notre Dame is just as good, if not better, as LSU is. To me, right now, Oklahoma, in terms of their fan base and their support, it's almost better than I think USC would be. So that's what's really baffling to me right now, is the fact that these don't seem to be like moves that are on a different plane. They're on the same plane. I mean, it's more money, okay. Maybe it's more power, fine. But like if I'm Chip Kelly, if I'm Brian Kelly, sorry, I don't know why I would ever leave Notre Dame, because that seems like a pretty good spot. If I'm Lincoln Riley, I kind of brought Oklahoma into a new echelon, if you would, the college football playoffs and everything. I had Heisman quarterback after Heisman quarterback. I don't know why I would leave that spot. Maybe it's the challenge. Maybe it's the ego. I just don't understand making these move in stagnant positions.
Better job, LSU or Notre Dame? And I think what you're telling me right now is staying at Notre Dame. Not necessarily means a better job, but I mean, if you're Brian Kelly, what's the lure? It's got to be the money, and that's why Lincoln Riley. It's got to be the money. Do you see the reports? I mean, it's $110 million. It's a $6 million Malibu home. It's paying $1 million more for my Norman, Oklahoma homes. I mean, Southern California or Norman, Oklahoma, right? I mean, people are different. Some people want to go for the glitz and glamour. Some people are just happy being, right there in Norman, Oklahoma, and being the guy forever. Like, people are different in that regard. But here's one thing where people are not that different. When you're making $45 million and you can go make $110 million, well, I think most people are going to do that. And I think that's the case with Brian Kelly as well, because Notre Dame doesn't pay top dollar. They were not paying him a ton of money like others. Now, there are some people saying with incentives and other things he's making $6-7 million. But if you look up his salary, it's like $2.67 million or something like that. I don't know what the latest on it is. But
poverty, $2.6 million.
I know, but in college
unbelievable.
Circles, yeah, but you just said, what does the money say?
No,
and
for
so
sure.
if you're Brian Kelly and you're like, they're going to give me $10 million a year or whatever it is, and Notre Dame won't give me this without me going to beg for it or come with a job. And what else have they done to kind of skirt those dollars in the program to make life difficult on Brian Kelly? Or maybe he just wants to rejuvenate. He's 60 years old. He's been there 12 years. Maybe it's getting a little stale for him. He feels like he's done as much as he can, even though he hasn't won a title. So there's various reasons why. I just don't understand why these guys just don't tell us why. Like, just tell us why. Be honest about it.
Yeah. No, I mean, it comes down to the money. That's exactly what it is, because like I said, they're both stagnant jobs. Now, I'm not. To me, it makes things interesting in college football. It's a great talking line. Now you're intrigued next year of how LSU is going to be. You're intrigued next year of how USC is going to be. And I'll be honest, I haven't talked a lot about USC in terms of predictions, in terms of hype in a long time, maybe since Pete Carroll left. I mean, there's been expectations put forth, but they never seem to meet those expectations. Now maybe Lincoln Riley going there, he can bring some lifeblood into the Pac-12, which I think desperately needs it compared to the SEC. So I think they're both moves that, in the landscape of things of college football, I think they're good for. Now, you lie to your student athletes, and there's that whole story as well. That's just college football. I don't get too caught up in that. I mean, if a coach sits in your kitchen and tells you he's going to be there for 4 years, you're naive to believe him.
Well, that's true.
Right?
We know better, right?
Yeah, you should know better by now, because you should know how the story always plays out. They're always on to bigger and better things. They're always on to more money. The whole narrative that I don't like, though, and this is more of Brian Kelly than it is Lincoln Riley as far as I know right now, is that Brian Kelly told his players via text first because word got out. Now, I understand the narrative always is, okay, well, the press is always going to get a hold of it first before the players. I think that's bogus. I think that if you are on the fence, or if you're even for sure that you're going to go to LSU, you meet with your players first. You don't give I'm definitely coming to LSU. You don't tell them that until you talk to your players. I think you at least owe them that amount of respect. Now, if you want to leave and go someplace else, that's fine. I mean, that's more power to you. That's the way the business is ran. The players have the transfer portal, so it's kind of even at this point. And then there's NIL as well, so players getting money as well. So I don't feel bad for the players because that's the way the landscape is now. But I do feel bad from the standpoint of they weren't told this until they saw it on Twitter, until they saw it on Instagram. That's not right. I think if you're a college football coach and you're a man, I think the best thing to do is tell your players first and then go from there.
Here's the thing about that, okay? And I'll go back and forth with people, and I understand that. You would like to, in a perfect world, and I believe these guys in a perfect world would like to be able to go to LSU, interview for the job, or get the phone call, whatever it is. It sounds like he was at LSU. So it goes to LSU. They get everything done. He would like to fly back, call a team meeting, and say, hey, I'm going. Well, in this day and age, somebody's talking. Somebody's leaking it. And that's what happened. And so, now, I'm not sure a text would have been what you should do because that was weak as well. Just call the meeting. It was an 11-minute meeting, apparently. There were some reports of the Lincoln Riley meeting was like, everybody was like, get out of here, dude. See ya. I don't know how factual those were, but I'm not surprised by that. I understand. I would be pissed off, too. Like, if I'm the university, if I'm the president, if I'm the administration, I'm not in the loop. Listen, if you and I are going to go interview for another job, the common courtesy and most likely thing that we're going to do, unless it's just this, unless we're just mad at everybody, is we're going to say, hey, we're going to peek around here. I got a good opportunity. I just want to let you know that I might have an opportunity. Might not work out, but I might have an opportunity. Is that feasible for guys like Kelly and guys like Lincoln Riley to do in today's world? Because he brings his team in there and says, hey, guys, just to let you know, I might be peeking around here a little bit. Well, then they're all yapping and talking too, right? I mean,
that's not what you do. To me, if I'm Brian Kelly and I go to LSU and I'm in contact of signing a contract where I'm going to be the head coach, I say this to whoever is in charge of making that happen, who's ever in charge of facilitating that. I will look at the contract, I will sign the contract, but I need to talk to my players first. If you can respect that, then let me do that. If not, then find another coach. I think that's respectable enough from LSU, and I think that's respectable enough from Brian Kelly where they can get that done. Now, if word leaks out that Brian Kelly might be signing a contract soon, well then, so be it. But that's the power of the media, I guess. But I think you at least owe it to your players to sit down to them face-to-face before you plan on another, empowered endeavor, if you will, of going to coach LSU.
I will say this. I don't understand. Here's my biggest claim of it. I don't want to hear Nick Saban, and Nick Saban, I know he's not like a culprit in this, but the bottom line is he's the big daddy in college football, and I've heard him say this stuff, and other coaches will too. You hate the transfer portal. Well, guess what? College coach, I don't ever want to hear you say I hate the transfer portal again. Because, one, it's helping you win faster, but, two, you're doing the same thing. And I know not everybody is, but these guys are, and they're the faces of it. And so if they're going to walk out the door at midnight in the dark and go to get another job, and because it's good for them and good for their family, and most people would, well, then stop telling me that a kid can't do the same thing. So I don't want to hear that again because I'm throwing Chip Kelly and Lincoln Riley. I'm sorry, Brian Kelly.
I'm on the Chip Kelly train.
And Lincoln Riley in the same boat, right back at him. And if Nick Saban ever brings it up in a press conference, then I hope somebody in Alabama, which I probably wouldn't, would say the same thing. Well, what about these guys, Coach? What about these guys leaving? Is that okay? And then maybe he'll go on a rant about them too. But I don't want to hear that ever again. I don't know how feasible it is to do this all the right way. But I will say this. In today's day and age, who cares if you publicize it? Does it matter? Like, even if you did meet with your team, say, hey, guys, I'm going down to LSU tonight because I might take the job. And they come out and all of a sudden rumors start spreading that, hey, he's going down there. If you take the job, well, you took the job, right? No, LSU doesn't care. They don't swing and miss. If you don't take the job, well, isn't that just leverage that you're wanted? And you're at Notre Dame, you're staying, and I chose Notre Dame, and I'm glad I'm here, and you're just going to get more money, which is what's going to go on with the backdoor dealing anyway with your agent if you do stay at Notre Dame. What I don't understand is who cares if you tell everybody?
In terms of the players? Like, you don't think you should tell the players?
Yeah, like, I do. Like, I don't understand why you can't be transparent about the process. We all know Billy Napier's up for a big job. We all know Brian Kelly. Well, no, we don't know, but Brian Kelly can just say,
how is that going to work with recruiting, though? If you're taking other looks at other places, how are you going to sit in someone's kitchen and be like, well, hey, I wanted to come to Notre Dame, but I'm also looking at LSU. Can you please sign the dotted line?
That's a fair question. But then the answer to this is there's no perfect way to do it. Because I can find potholes in every kind of way that you try to do it.
The only thing I'm going to say is, to me, the only perfect way, and people are going to get upset regardless of what you do. I just think man to man, when you brought those players in, and yes, you're a football coach, but you're also supposed to be a mentor and, trying to, grow young men, if you will, and get them ready for society. If that is really your goal, then you sit down with those players, you talk to them, you let them know what's going on. They're not going to be happy, obviously, because you're leaving, but at least you give them the common courtesy to know, you know what, I'm going to a different spot. I want you guys to hear this first. I didn't want you to read it on Twitter, didn't want you to read it on Instagram, because to me, if that happens and your players read that, then you're a coward. Like, I think Brian Kelly's a coward because he didn't tell his players first. Maybe you can't do that. Maybe it's not feasible because of the power of the media, but I would do everything in my power if I was a head coach to at least do that and give his players the benefit of the doubt.
All right, so the other part of this now is the dominoes fall, and it's been a wild time, and college football is going to continue to be wild. We can all sit here and complain about the money and the 10 years and the this and that. They obviously have it, folks. And then so don't complain about NILs and all the rest, right? The coaches have created all this. We've talked about that a lot, but they've created – I don't know if you put a cap on people's earnings. I don't think you do that. I'm not a believer in that. But the money's silly. The money's crazy. It's outlandish, quite frankly. It's really embarrassing if you look at some of the dollars that are being out there to coach. I said that I will say this even more later. I think football coach is the most overrated coach in I think we can find more good football coaches for less money.
Yeah.
Like, outside of Saban and Belichick, I could tell you I could find a lot of coaches to do the job well.
Sure.
And probably come up with similar results for a lot less money. I'm a firm believer in that. I think we give way too much credit to some of these coaches. They get lucky. They get resources. They do a good job. I'm not telling you they're not good. But they're not $10 million better than the next guy, in my opinion. They all grew up in the same thing, Some are just more organized or a little more smart, right? Or crafty in terms of selling recruits. Some have a little bit more, but does anybody have the whole package that much better? Well, Saban's a great CEO. Belichick is unbelievable what he's built.
Yep.
So you got to give those guys the nod. Outside of those two guys, I'm not sure there's much separation between the rest of them. I think you get a little lucky. You could
Dabo for a while was pretty good.
Dabo feels like he could. I almost put him in the conversation, and I think that's fair to argue that. But you get my point.
Yep.
There's only 5 of them, right? There's not – you don't have to go find 60-year-old Brian Kelly. You could have found 40-year-old defensive coordinator, and he might win just as much as Kelly at LSU is my contention.
Yeah, but what's going to move the needle more? A 40-year-old defensive coordinator you never heard of before, or Brian Kelly from Notre Dame if you're LSU?
Well, winning.
Sure.
And winning big. So let's find out who wins big, I guess.
But, does Brian Kelly have a history of winning?
Yeah, he does, but not big.
Okay, but do we know what a defensive coordinator could do?
Well,
we don't.
Okay, I'll just give you this. Napier would have been half the cost in their own backyard.
Sure.
All right?
Sure.
And I would contend that, I think he's 42 years old. LSU, he could be there for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, rather than Brian Kelly now is even going to make the contract at 60.
Who's getting more headlines right now, Napier or Brian Kelly?
Well, yeah, absolutely. But, again.
Well, this is an arms race. Like, in terms of recruiting, I mean, who do you think is going to have the advantage right now, year one of recruiting? Are we talking
Florida
LSU?
Or LSU?
Yeah, or Florida.
Yeah, I would say LSU, but I also think part of LSU is because they've got built-in choppers and private planes, and they've committed more dollars and resources to it as well, I think.
Sure.
By the way, and Kelly comes with name recognition, but up in the Midwest, not necessarily down in the South. Like, his roots aren't here, although Notre Dame, recruits all over the place. All right, so the biggest thing from a local standpoint, Urban Meyer's going to stay in Jacksonville. We can go around on this. Hey, it's his dream job. I went up and talked to his buddies in January. They said they thought the only job that he would come back for would be Notre Dame. They really did. Like, they told me that.
Yeah.
But he obviously, the ship has sailed on college. He had chances in other colleges to go, and he didn't. And he doesn't like all the new stuff that comes with college, from the NIL to the transfer portal to the other things. And now he says, basically, I'm sticking it out here, man. I'm in for the long haul. Well, I guess after watching Twitter last night and assuming that maybe Notre Dame would come get Urban Meyer, and the Jags being 2-9, and this fan base not being in love with Urban right now, are you happy that he's going to stay here for the long haul is really the most, blunt question I can ask.
Yeah, am I happy about it? I mean, I definitely want to see this thing through. All right, I want to see what this thing is supposed to be or what you had envisioned. But more than am I happy or not, I'm not surprised whatsoever. Like, if I was to put some money down, it would have been a 99% bet of he's staying in Jacksonville. And he's not going back to the college ranks. Because we talk about this all the time. When you've won as much in college as Urban Meyer has, I mean, there's not much left for you to do.
I agree.
So then you move to the NFL, and we'll see what happens. You know, the way that he left Florida, the way that things are left in Ohio State, some people want to pick that apart and say it was bad. And you know what? More power to them. They're entitled to their opinion. But if he was to leave Jacksonville in the middle of his first season, there is no coming back from that in terms of your reputation. Like right now, yeah, your reputation in Jacksonville, it's not good, right? I mean, after the Cincinnati stuff, the way your team's doing right now, the way it looks on the field, it's obviously not good. But if you were to tuck your tail and go back to the college ranks and not even complete a full season, that would kill your reputation. People would have a field day with that, and there's no coming back with that, no matter how many national championships you win at Notre Dame. So I think, once again, just from being a man, I think Urban Meyer wants to see this through, and I don't blame him. I think from being a man, he doesn't want to tuck his tail and say, yeah, I quit. It's getting too hard. I'm out of here.
Yes.
That's not his makeup, I think, right? I mean, I don't know Urban Meyer personally. I've talked to him a couple of times, but I don't know the guy personally. But I think in his character, in his makeup, he's not a guy that's going to walk away when it gets tough and then tuck his tail and say, yeah, it wasn't what I thought it was. We'll see you later. I think he will at least wants to finish this season and make it right.
Let me give you the number one reason why Urban Meyer to Notre Dame isn't going to happen. Because he's making like $10 to $12 million or something like that here in Jacksonville. What just happened is Brian Kelly got the bank to go to LSU. They lured him away. The Brinks truck went to USC and lured Lincoln Riley from Oklahoma, even though he was already making a lot of money, but he just got that much more. I mean, you can't turn down that kind of money. Like, that's stupidity almost, right? And then you get to the challenge of it and my dream job and USC or, in this case, Notre Dame. But how much is Notre Dame going to pay? They've obviously proven to Brian Kelly they're not paying that kind of money anyway.
But here's the thing, though. I mean, do they think they're going to lose Brian Kelly? Maybe they got too cocky. Maybe they thought, you know what, Brian Kelly's here for life. He's not going anywhere. All of a sudden you lose him to LSU, and now you look bad. Who's to say some boosters don't come forward, Notre Dame doesn't come forward and say, you know what, we need a guy, we need to make a wave here. We just lost a big guy in Brian Kelly. Let's get Urban Meyer. Let's write that blank check and see what it's going to take to get Urban Meyer. Because, you know, if you compare it, yeah, Brian Kelly, great coach, does not have the track record of Urban Meyer that does at the college level. So who's to say Notre Dame wouldn't give him what the Jaguars gave?
Yeah,
Urban Meyer.
Maybe. But what I'm saying is it's not like this bump. Like, they'd have to give him $15, $18 million a year to get him to be like, holy cow, I can't turn that down. Like, That's what these guys just look like they got offered, at least on paper. So I think that plays a role in it, certainly there. Here's what else it does. And this is either good or bad news. This shows me that Shad Khan isn't planning on making a move at the end of this year. Urban Meyer's not planning on going anywhere at the end of this year. Mm-hmm. And he's now said this multiple times, and I know words are cheap when you talk about coaches, but I really get the feel that he is sticking this through. Like, all his words about the owner and the trust that he put into him and what he handed over to him, he says, I'm going to make this work for Shad Khan. Mm-hmm. You know, maybe for the people here in Jacksonville and the fans as well. But I think this is a little bit about Urban trying to say, I'm going to get this right. I'm going to figure this out. Now, can he is another question, because it's off to a rocky start here in Jacksonville.
Question. Yeah, it's a giant question. Yeah, and I wish I had that answer. I have no idea. No,
none of us do.
I have no idea.
People would bet against it right now, though.
And I could very well see that. You know, if you're asking me, I thought it would have looked a lot better. Now, the record, I think, would have, you know, been very comparable to the way I expected it to be. But the way that it looks on the field, I thought it would have been a lot better by this point.
Yeah, me too.
So, you know, in terms of expectations, they obviously haven't been reached. They haven't been met. You know, I do think this is going to be more than a one-year deal. I really do. I think from Urban's side, he wants to make things right, and I think from Shad Khan's side, I'm not, because we don't know what the contract looks like. At least I don't know what the contract looks
nobody
like.
Really
it
knows.
Never got announced.
Yeah, it never did.
But
it's
I think,
all speculation.
Yeah, but I think the last thing Shad Khan wants to do is after the season is cut ties and then have to pay over a lump sum and say, oh, well, you tried. Here's some free money.
Yeah.
You know, we have to go another direction. Like, yeah, I get Shad Khan's worth a lot of money, but it's still his money.
He is not doing
and you don't want
that.
to wait. Yeah.
The only way he would do that is if somebody came and got the money, and so he's off the hook for it,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
Like a Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Or if Urban does something else that would ruin the
where
contract.
Where it was grounds for dismissal.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so that's the only thing. He is not just going to say, I'm giving up on this thing, unless there's reason to do it. And I'm talking concrete reason. Now, he started that search probably back on the Cincinnati game and after on that weekend. If there's another incident like that, then we'll be talking differently. And maybe there's grounds for dismissal. But the bottom line is what I get out of this is Shad's in it for the long haul, at least for a few years, because he signed him up to a pretty lengthy deal. He admitted to that. And Urban's in it for a while. And Urban knows his legacy. Urban is a legacy play. And he obviously isn't – he knows that he can't just turn around and quit on this and walk out the door. And I know this. He sure as hell doesn't want his NFL record to look like 3-14 or 2-15 after 1 year and see you later. Yeah. He ain't going for that. So he's going to try to flip this thing around. Can he is a different question. We'll talk more about it when we come back. I also have this question, what if he went to Notre Dame? Because it's kind of fun just to play. I mean, how wild would that be? We're at the 10-year anniversary of the news conference where the Jags got sold and Jack Del Rio got fired. I mean, this would be an unbelievable turn of events if all of a sudden Notre Dame had come calling for Urban Meyer and he walked out the door.
Do you think the Action News chopper would be following him as he left?
Yes.
It would?
I mean, I would be flapping my own wings to try to follow.
I hope so. Amen to
I mean,
that.
it would be an unbelievable story. Hey, Tuesdays at Top Golf, we're not done with this yet. We got more Jags talk, NFL talk, college talk. Looks like Anthony Richardson's staying with the Gators, so that could be good news for Billy Napier. We talk all about it. And some James Robinson talk, what he had to say last night on Jags Report Live. It's all on the way. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 live from Top Golf here on a Tuesday.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Tracking a sunny day again. Highs in the upper 60s this afternoon. Clear skies this evening. 50s and 40s after sunset. Overnight will drop down to the lower to mid 40s. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Garrett Biedenball.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where now you can save up to 41% off during Beard's anniversary sale.
For the ones who get going when the going gets tough, and the ones who know we're tougher together. For the Pathfinders breaking new ground, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as fast access to experts and 24/7 customer support. Because we know you have people depending on you, so you can always depend on us. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Men, when you're in the mood for love, but you have ED or PE and those little blue pills haven't worked, here's a message from Prime Men's Medical Center.
I'm Dr. Rabinski. If Viagra, Cialis, or Levitra have let you down, Prime Men's Medical Center offers custom-blended medications. Men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, and it's affordable.
Call 904-664-8217. We guarantee you'll see results on your first visit or you pay nothing. Call 904-664-8217.
Once in a lifetime savings.
Before the holidays,
It's never been done before.
Beard's Diamonds' incredible 41st anniversary sale.
Everything store-wide is on sale up to an unbelievable 41% off.
Believe it.
But it's only happening till November 30th.
If you're getting married, celebrating an anniversary, or shopping early for the holidays,
You do not want to miss this once-in-a-lifetime sale.
Beard's Diamonds always has the largest inventory in North Florida. But now there's even more.
Designers have sent their best stuff, especially for this sale.
Loose diamonds, mounted diamonds, diamond earrings, necklaces, and more.
All on sale up to 41% off.
Beard's Diamonds has been family owned and operated in Jacksonville for over 41 years. And to say thank you, they're discounting everything in the store up to 41% off.
A sale so big, it's never been done before. Because Beard's Diamonds will never be beat on price.
Beard's Diamonds 41st anniversary sale, now through November 30th.
At the St. John's Town Center or at beardsdiamonds.com.
Hey, Bruiser, you ready to do the old holiday shopping routine?
Yeah, I got all the houses picked out.
Alrighty.
Hey, you know, I almost feel sorry for these folks.
Don't go soft on me now. That's why they pay insurance.
Okay, so you promise those kids will just lose their bikes for a little while?
Yeah, I promise. Whatever.
All right, then let's sing our favorite holiday song.
Yeah. We're making our list, checking it twice.
Looking for houses with things that are nice. Bruiser and Browser are coming to town. We're filling our truck, we won't leave much.
Avoiding those houses at God's safe touch.
Bruiser and Browser are coming to town.
Crime does increase during the holidays. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, owner of Safe Touch Security Systems. Our new Safe Touch two-way communicator saves lives and prevents property loss every day. Our average response time is an incredible 14 seconds. Nobody can match our servers or our price. You have my guarantee on it.
Call SafeTouch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
For survivors of domestic violence in Duval and Baker counties, Hubbard House provides free, confidential emergency shelter and services. Call our 24-hour hotline at 904-354-3114.
The COVID-19 vaccine, there's so much news about it, but what's true and what's not? Before you pass on its protection, get all the facts. Elder Source can help with a free workshop given at your church or organization. Learn how the vaccine works, potential side effects, and where you can get a free one. Encourage your church or organization's leadership to book a free workshop by visiting myeldersource.org/COVID.
Got a business trip, long weekend, or maybe you just really want to try that new Toyota before you buy it? Then get it all when you rent a Toyota from Arlington Toyota. With easy online reservations and rental rates as low as $19.95 a day, there's nothing stopping you from hitting the open road in a new 2021 Toyota. So rent a Toyota from Arlington Toyota. Try it before you buy it and reserve your rental online at arlingtontoyota.com today.
Alexa, how do I drive more customers into my business?
First, people will need to hear about you. Then you need to be online where they look for you. Then you need to...
I don't have time for that. I need to run my business.
Okay, searching for a local team that can help.
CMG Local Solutions. Visit cmglocalsolutions.com today.
Hey, it's Brett Mortno from Action Sports Jacks. Did you know you can watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jacks on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Or follow me on Twitter at Brent A.S. Jacks. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690.
I've been telling you for months and months about Easy Garage Solutions. It was interesting that we put up our tree. We hadn't done the ornaments yet, but this morning I was in the garage, and all the boxes and bins elevated. And so go up on a ladder, and I get those Christmas decorations down. Now I don't have to move like 5 boxes off each other and then get the Christmas decorations, which are buried on the bottom. So that's nice. Also, Easy Garage Solutions will not only elevate your bins and boxes, but they'll also hang things on the wall like monkey bar technology for your bikes and for your beach chairs. So you really clear off the floor space. That's what we intended to do, and Easy Garage Solutions helped us do that. We absolutely love it, and it's good at Christmas time as well. EasyGarageSolutions.com. Go check them out. Easy Garage Solutions. It's that easy.
Hey, what's up? It's Austin Lane. Check out Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 or ESPN690.com.
Yeah, there's no chance that I'm here and committed to try to build an organization.
So that is Urban Meyer back in September when, remember, after the first week the USC job came open and everybody was already asking Urban about, what about that job? Yeah. Are you going to go get that job? And, well, he put that to bed, and now he'll be asked again by the LA media this afternoon, and then tomorrow by us, and just to confirm that he's here for the long haul. But the word is he's here for the long haul, and that's not surprising to me at all. Again, I really think what lures people, you can have feelings, right? You can have your dream job, but by the time you say you dream job, when did he say that? Like 20 years ago? 15 years ago? Things change, man. Mm-hmm. Like, listen, if I was 15 years ago in this business, I would have said, hey, man, I really want to go to ESPN someday. I have no desire to go to ESPN. Yeah. Like, none. Like, I like Jacksonville. I like it. I got a good life. My life's fine.
Sure.
You know what lures me? If ESPN says, hey, Brent, you can go make 10 times what you're making.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, I'm stupid if I don't take it.
That would lure anybody.
That's right. Mm-hmm. That's what lures people. Well, to me, Urban Meyer, he doesn't need that. Not because he has a lot of money, because he's already making a ton of money in Jacksonville. Notre Dame's not going to trump the dollars by doubling it up.
Yeah.
So that's really why I think it's not a surprise that he'd be interested. And there is this other part of it. How much do you really think? Brett McMurphy tweeted at me today when I asked about it a little bit. Because he had said 85% of ADs said they wouldn't touch Urban Meyer after the Ohio incident.
Yeah.
I said, well, that leaves 15%. He said, well, none that can win a championship. So he must have asked the big-time ADs about it.
Sure.
First of all, ADs don't run the show. The booster money people run the show. Keep in mind of that.
Yeah.
If a booster guy comes up and he's got millions of dollars and he says, I want Urban Meyer, I don't care what the hell he did in that bar, you're going to listen.
Do you think it's different, though, at Notre Dame?
It might be.
Yeah.
It might be. But so do you think that impacts teams wanting to come get Urban Meyer, that incident alone?
Yeah, I think it comes into question.
You think it's still fresh enough?
Yeah, I think it comes into question for sure. I mean, I think for Notre Dame, yeah, I think because, I say Notre Dame just because, they're independent, number one, but number two, they're just –
they're different.
Yeah,
they are different.
I don't know, like in terms – I don't want to say I don't know if prestige is the right word, but it seems like – in terms of vetting and everything, they would be a little more strict than a lot of programs would be, I would say.
Yeah, but listen, they still – I would say this, and I believe this. Yeah, you'd have to answer to it. There's a stain on Urban Meyer from that night and from that weekend. But I don't think – we don't talk about it every day. People in Notre Dame wouldn't talk about it every day. I mean, there was an incident with Brian Kelly at Notre Dame, and they don't bring that up every day. I mean, he's won a lot of football games since that.
But let me ask you this,
It's a totally different incident, by the way.
If Urban Meyer doesn't do that thing in Cincinnati, do we talk about him going to USC? Do we talk about him going to Notre Dame?
Prior, but
okay, yeah, sorry, but
I don't think so. That's my point. Like, I don't think that's the deal breaker. Like, I'm not saying Notre Dame isn't coming after Urban Meyer. I don't even know. They might still call Urban Meyer.
Sure.
I'm saying Urban Meyer's not going to Notre Dame because times have changed in his life, and he's also making top dollar here in Jacksonville. I don't think the call is either going to happen or not, and I don't really think the Ohio incident has anything to do with whether they're going to make the call or not.
Okay.
I don't believe so.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people might differ there, but I don't believe so. Let me ask you this, just for fun. If Urban Meyer were to go to Notre Dame, and he says he's not, so it's just hypothetical.
Sure.
Would he win a national title at Notre Dame?
Oh. Would he win a national title at Notre Dame? In the first 4 years, I would say no. I think, depending how long he plans on staying, maybe eventually. But I think not playing – I don't know. It all depends what their schedule looks like and all that good stuff. I don't think he would.
I'm telling you, man. It's hard. Here's the thing. What's really interesting about Brian Kelly, I think I read this yesterday. He's got – for 2022, he's got the fourth-ranked class in the country. And for 2023, he's got the second-ranked class in the country. I think Urban Meyer would do a hell of a job of keeping those kind of rankings, first of all. So he's not starting from 50th in recruiting.
Okay, but those guys are probably going to leave, though, too.
Some of them will. But my point is Urban Meyer might be able to keep some of those guys.
Sure,
and more than whoever they're going to get. More than Luke Fickell. More than whoever.
Yeah.
And so because Urban Meyer's got the resume and the pedigree to say, hey, we are going to win national titles. We're going to win big. And we're going to get you to the NFL.
Sure.
Because that's still the sell, right? That's still the sell to so many kids. And so I don't know, man. This guy's got it figured out in the college ranks. He sure as hell doesn't have it figured out right now in the NFL.
Yeah.
But he's got it figured out in the college ranks where he wins national championships. I mean, that's the trend. If he were to go there, I think he would win a national title. I mean, they're on the brink of it. They are not going to get there, it looks like, but they are on the brink of it. I think they're really good right now, and I give Kelly a lot of credit because I think he's coached great this year. I mean, this is not a talented or as talented Notre Dame team, and he's got them playing really good. I know they played a soft schedule, all the stuff, but they're playing good football, and they've gotten better. That's a sign of a good coach, in my opinion. So I actually do think Notre Dame would win a national title if they got Urban Meyer, and I think they can go hire Fickell. They can go hire the defensive coordinator. They can go hire you name it. And I don't think they're going to win. I think it's a very hard job to win, but the one guy that could win a national title, there's more than one, but the one of the few guys that could do it, I really believe is Urban Meyer.
This could come across as a really naive question, but in terms of recruiting and in terms of getting football players to your program at Notre Dame, isn't more stringent in terms of to qualify to go to Notre Dame as opposed to other schools?
Well, that was a problem for a long time. What happened is Lou Holtz changed the game, and that's why they won a national title. One of the reasons is they got a few guys in that normally wouldn't get in.
Mm-hmm.
How many of those? Who knows? The free passes, if you will, and that's a bad way to say it. But you get what we're talking about. There was leniency on some of the people they brought in for the football program, where really the rest of the program doesn't have that. I do think now that's been brought back. I think that's why we've seen success. There are a lot of people for years and years that never thought Notre Dame would be relevant again. Hats off to Brian Kelly, man. That guy made them relevant again. And many people thought that was not going to happen. The game had changed, and they were never going to do it. He made them relevant again. I mean, they've been good now for the last 5 or 6 years. Yeah, they haven't been able to win a national title. But if all you have is that they've made it to the Final Four and got waxed, well, guess what? They made it to the Final Four. And not many people thought they'd make it to the Final Four and have like one-loss seasons. So, yes, to answer your question more succinctly, yes, they would allow him to get people in that normally wouldn't get into Notre Dame.
Okay.
And so, therefore, he'd have a chance to win.
Do you think they'd be open if Urban Meyer went there to joining a Power 5 conference?
I think Urban might have say in that, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the keys that Shad Khan has handed over to Urban here. I think, yes, I think if he wanted to, but maybe he'd want to stay independent. And he thinks that's the best avenue to go.
Yeah.
And guess who's not playing a conference championship game? And guess who, if they beat Cincinnati, would be in the Final Four without playing a conference championship game?
No, sure, but I think at the same time, and I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but I think in terms of recruiting, like I think those rivalry games, I mean, there's rivalry games with Notre Dame, I mean, USC and Stanford, but what has that really meant the past decade? But I think
mostly because those teams stink.
Well, no, for sure. But I think it does mean something to, like I'm going to the SEC, I'm going to the Big Ten, heck, I'm going to the Pac-12. Like, I don't know, maybe that's not a big deal to recruits. I think it is to some, though.
Yeah. I listen, it might be.
Yeah.
But Notre Dame's Notre Dame.
Sure.
I can tell you this. Notre Dame is still Notre Dame.
Okay.
And if you care about tradition, well, then Notre Dame's Notre Dame. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not every kid cares about tradition or knows about tradition.
Yeah.
But if you are one of those kids and you're a proud college football traditionalist, well, then you know about Notre Dame. And putting on that uniform and walking through that tunnel and playing on that field, that's a big deal.
Yeah. Rudy was offsides, but it's all good. It's all good, though.
Listen, I believe it. I asked the question. He's not going. Like, I don't think he's going. And just because he said he's not going doesn't mean he's not going. We know how that works. But I don't think he's going. But I think it's a curiosity is, if he did go, would they win big? And my answer is yes. I think Urban Meyer would win a national title in the next, I don't know how long it would take, 5-6 years, whatever it might be. At Notre Dame.
I think eventually he would, but I don't think in the first 3 or 4 years, I don't think he would win one then.
Yeah, and then you start wondering, would he stay after 5 or 6 years, right? Because that's been a little bit of his MO. All right, let's take a break. Tuesdays at Topgolf. We come back, we hear from James Robinson, what he had to say about fumbling, about was he benched, about not playing as much as I want him to play. We asked him last night on Jags Report Live, and James Robinson answered the question, what he had to say. Coming up, Tuesdays from Topgolf, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
What's up, Jacksonville? I'm Casey Kurtz. As the crazy contracts continue to be handed out in baseball, Arlington Country Day alum Javier Baez has cashed in. Baez signed a 6-year, $140 million deal with the Tigers this morning. The JU and UNF women will be on the court tonight, but UNF will have a tougher task than JU. UNF will travel to Auburn to take on the Tigers at 8 p.m. That game will be on SEC+. The JU women will be on the road as well as they travel to Miami to take on FIU. Tip-off for that one is at 7 p.m. And right here on ESPN 690, the Florida State men's basketball team will be in action as they travel to West Lafayette to take on the number 2 ranked Purdue Boilermakers. Coverage of that will get underway at 7. This Sports Center update sponsored by Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan, for the people. This is Action Sports Jacks.
I think I'm getting closer and closer to doing the anatomy of the screenplay. I mean, what the hell? I mean, why can't we run a screen in Jacksonville for 14 years since I've been here? 14 freaking years we can't run a screenplay. And then on defense, we can't stop the damn thing. They can't stop a screenplay. We can't run a screenplay. What is going on in Jacksonville? I mean, it's unbelievable. They run screenplays in high school.
Before the long road trip. Before the big game. Before the morning workout. Start with 5-Hour Energy. It fixes tired fast and helps you feel alert, energized, and ready to tackle whatever's on your agenda. Even
Hey babe, the sink is clogged.
the weekend honey-do list. 5 Hour Energy. It's the one when you gotta get stuff done. Pick up some today. For more information, visit 5hourenergy.com.
For the ones who are always in the know.
Delivery confirmed.
For the ones who keep things running. For the innovators and the problem solvers. Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, experienced staff at local branches, and free access to experts to help answer your toughest questions. So whatever challenge you face, we have the knowledge and products to help. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Looking for a great career that can take you places? The Jacksonville Transportation Authority offers miles of opportunity, and the JTA is now hiring bus operators. We offer competitive pay and benefits with a starting wage of $16.43 per hour. We're offering hiring bonuses from $10,000 to $15,000. CDL training is available, and JTA will pay for relocation to Florida. And the Sunshine State has no income tax, so your paycheck goes further. Stop looking for a job. Get yourself a new career with the JTA.
For the ones who are always in the know.
Delivery confirmed.
For the ones who keep things running. For the innovators and the problem solvers. Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, experienced staff at local branches, and free access to experts to help answer your toughest questions. So whatever challenge you face, we have the knowledge and products to help. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-343-8638. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-343-8638. 800-343-8638. 800-343-8638.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-333-1750. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-333-1750. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-333-1750. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-333-1750. 800-333-1750.
Only Wendy's serves a better breakfast with a better biscuit. Our hot, buttery breakfast biscuits are loaded with a fresh cracked egg, cheese, and your choice of bacon or sausage. And right now at Wendy's, they're only $1 each.
Wendy's breakfast biscuits, just $1.
So don't take a chance with those other guys. Bet your buck on a better breakfast with Wendy's bacon or sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's.
Limited time only during breakfast hours. U.S. price and participation may vary. Limit 5 qualifying items per transaction. Not valid in a combo. Excludes honey butter chicken biscuit.
Join ESPN 690 on March 5th for the Gate River Run. Registration for the 15K, 5K for charity, Junior River Run, and the Brooks Rehabilitation Mile Challenge is now open at GateRiverRun.com. Training information is available on the website. See you at the starting line.
James, this isn't an indictment on Carlos Hyde or anybody else. It's really just a compliment to you. I can't get over this. I don't sleep well on Sunday nights when you sit on the sideline for 16 plays. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. That actually was a good drive. Were you surprised you were on the sideline that long? Do you feel like you got benched coming off the fumble?
I don't feel like I got benched. I mean, I know it was a mistake, and I mean, it's football and it happens, but I'm not sure what was really going on in the coach's head for having me on the sideline for the rest of the quarter. I mean, I'm not sure, but it looked like they were moving the ball pretty well, so they just kind of went with it.
Oh, James Robinson taking the high road last night on Jags Report Live at Sneakers in Jax Beach, 7 o'clock each and every Monday. James joins us. By the way, I had a lot of fun last night. I had a middle school team over there from Providence, the Stallions in the JDL League, and he signed all the autographs for the kids. It was fun to have them out there. What a cool moment, too, I think, for him, because, I mean, he's an undrafted guy, and there's so much confidence from his family and him that he was going to make it to this stage. But you never know. And of course, he was undrafted. So there are a lot of non-believers. And right now, the big question in Jacksonville is the Jags coaching staff in the non-believer category on James Robinson. You just heard him say it. He said, I don't know what's going through their head in that situation. But he did acknowledge they were in a little bit of a rhythm on that drive. And so he gave him a pass. He's not going to say anything that's like, oh, my gosh, right? I mean, He's kind of doesn't say anything, oh, my gosh, anyway. He's very man a few words. But he answers all the questions yesterday about it. I mean, we're sitting there. We were kind of having a little fun with it. He had a good game. You know, what's lost in all this is 115 yards of offense for James Robinson. Like, they need that, but they still could only produce 14 points given that situation. What were they, 11 of 18 or 11 of 19 on third down conversions? Like, that's really good for this football team. By the way, it's a lot of third down conversions, too. So the James Robinson took the high road. But I'm telling you, man, he knows, and he's the same way as we all are. He's got 20 touches in that game. He can do 25. Mm-hmm. Give me the football. Mm-hmm. And you know he wants the football more because I can tell you this, my years of experience covering the Jags and football is every damn running back wants the ball.
Of course.
Some might say it more than others.
Yeah, well, especially him because he's that good. Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm not surprised by the answer. It's taking the high road. That seems to be who he is, and I got nothing but respect for that. But it's like I said, I mean, I saw how that played out in the sidelines and his reaction when, you know, Hyde was in and they couldn't convert, and then Agumbawale drops the ball. I mean, he was visibly frustrated as he should have been. You know, we talked about this yesterday a lot, and it can't be stressed enough. Guys like that, guys like James Robinson, whether you saw the talent when you got him as an undrafted free agent or you lucked into him, regardless, guys like that you got to take care of. You got to take care of in terms of, you know, giving him a second contract, but you got to take care of him in terms of making him happy, right? Because he's one of the good ones. And the last thing you want to do is for a guy like that to get frustrated. So hopefully, you know, and I say hopefully in quotes because I feel like we've had this conversation before about him getting the football, but hopefully, you know, there can be more communication from Urban Meyer, from Bevel, who's ever calling the shots, where it's like, hey, let's get this James Robinson guy in a little more here because he's that good of a player, and we need him to carry the team and carry the load.
I'm not suggesting they should look at Twitter for the answers, okay? But you have to at least acknowledge, if you're the Jags staff, if you're Bernie, again, this is what I say. It's not only Urban Meyer. They've got Darrell Bevel. They've got Brian Schottenheimer. They've got Bernie Parmalee, the running backs coach. I mean, you have voices. If you're too afraid to say something to Urban Meyer, then shame on you. I mean, that's part of the business. I can't imagine that's the case. We're not afraid to say it. And nobody should be afraid to say it. Give your best player the ball more. Have him in the game. And if you don't want to give it to him because you're on a pitch count, which he wasn't, but if he told us he wasn't, that if you don't want to give it to him, then at least use him as a decoy.
Sure.
You know, if you want Agumbawale in the game, then run a package with James and Agumbawale in the game.
Yeah. Because
he is your best player. Who else at that stage of the game is making a defense think? Mm-hmm. Only James Robinson. Dan Arnold, by the way, was out of the game, and he had already been hurt. Yeah. So this does not make sense, okay? And this is not the first time. We talked about it yesterday a lot. And just to reiterate, from the fact that they picked ETN, added Hyde, they needed some more depth at running back. I don't mind that, but some people say, hey, this is a sign that they don't love James Robinson. Either or, right, on the depth chart, all the way through August to start the year. Carlos Hyde or James Robinson. Are you kidding me? One of the best running backs in the league last year, he has to earn his job, his starting job? No way, man. That shouldn't have been the case. And then they didn't give it to him. They passed it too much. They don't have him in the game on a fourth down play. They got Carlos Hyde in the game. He goes backwards. They don't have him in the game later on. Carlos Hyde fumbles the football when he's not in the game. Now this week, I mean, we have countless examples of what are you guys doing? An offense that is struggling. I would have no beef if this offense was scoring 30 points a game, and that's what you're doing. But I just saw it last night with Washington, man. They gave it to Gibson 27 times. Yeah. And you know what? They used McKissick as well.
Sure.
They ran the football a lot.
Yeah.
But they gave it to their guy 27 times. Give it to our guy 27 times.
No, absolutely. And, schematically it makes sense, but competitively you put yourself at such a disadvantage because, like you said, I mean, when defensive coordinators right now are planning for the Jacksonville Jaguars, number one, they're licking their chops and they're salivating because they're excited. But number two, James Robinson is they got to focus on. When you're having your first, meeting of the week and you're playing for the Jacksonville Jaguars, number one priority, where's James Robinson? Stop James Robinson. Because with all due respect to Trevor Lawrence right now, teams do not fear Trevor Lawrence. Teams don't really fear Marvin Jones. Teams might have feared Dan Arnold a little bit, but now he's gone. Teams fear James Robinson. So when he's on the field, that gives you a competitive advantage. You're shooting yourself in the foot when you're trying to go to the red zone, when you're trying to capitalize on a score, and he's not out there.
Yeah, Urban Meyer has to fix this, okay? Listen, Urban Meyer has a lot going on. There's a lot to overcome in that building and what he inherited. I appreciate that. I can respect that. But he's not making it any better when you take your best player off the field in critical times. And when we can pile on to the mess that it is in Jacksonville and you're not winning. If you were winning, I can't have these conversations, like I said. But we can have these conversations. Avoid this stuff. Avoid the easy stuff. Control what you can control and put your guy in the game. He's ready to go. Either don't play him or play him. I'm to that point with James. Early on, 3 weeks ago, I was like, okay, you could tell he's a little sluggish. They're trying to work him back in. I even thought he looked a little like he was plodding along and didn't have explosiveness, and he told us that last night against San Francisco. But Sunday, man, it looked like he had some of that back, that push, and he told us that last night. Yeah, I had more of it. Meanwhile, the coach is sitting there on a podium saying, yeah, I didn't think he looked that explosive, and Carlos Hyde had more juice. Come on, man. No, that's not true. That is not true. You do not have to validate your signing of Carlos Hyde. He's a backup running back. That's fine. You don't need to validate it, guys. It's okay. What you do is need to validate your best offensive player. Make us happy, make him happy. Make the offense better. Simple as that. All right, we're going to take a break. Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. We come back. We talk more football around the league. Who's the strangest team in the NFL right now? Like the team you just can't figure out. Who is that? Tuesdays from Top Golf. Coming back on ESPN 690.
Know what time it is? It's time to get moving. Cora Physical Therapy has opened a new state-of-the-art clinic in Kingsland on Boone and Haddock, and will be opening another one soon in Brunswick. With Cora, you have access to licensed, passionate clinicians, only the most innovative equipment, and life-changing therapies. Cora is all about treating everyone right now. It's your move. Visit coraphysicaltherapy.com for a free screening. No physician's referral required. Same-day appointments available.
Looking for a great career that can take you places? The Jacksonville Transportation Authority offers miles of opportunity, and the JTA is now hiring bus operators. We offer competitive pay and benefits with a starting wage of $16.43 per hour. We're offering hiring bonuses from $10,000 to $15,000. CDL training is available, and JTA will pay for relocation to Florida. And the Sunshine State has no income tax, so your paycheck goes further. Stop looking for a job. Get yourself a new career with the JTA.
The right time for the best water is right now. CGC Water Treatment wants to make sure your family's water is clean, healthy, and tastes great. CGC Water's done that for my family for a handful of years now, and it all starts with a Connecticut system. American-made and installed by the pros at CGC Water Treatment. Contact CGC Water Treatment now for your free water test. Connecticut systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Connecticut makes the world's most efficient softeners, twin-tank, non-electric systems that use less salt and water during regeneration. Right now, save up to $600 on select system packages. Financing available with approved credit. Just call CGC Water at 904-552-1242 and ask about the Conway Club, the new service program that will save you money on salt, filters, delivery, parts, and labor. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars and your local independent Connecticut dealer.
Hi there, I'm Mia. I'm Air.
You're Air?
Yeah, I just got out of the lungs of someone smoking a cheap little cigar outside a bodega. Oh, it was so smoky in there. And where there's smoke, there's
fire.
Cancer.
Oh.
Yeah, little cigars might taste sweet, but they still kill. I'm supposed to be helping people, not unhelping them.
You mean hurting.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm a bit of an airhead.
Little cigars are just as dangerous as regular cigarettes. Find out how to quit today at tobaccofreeflorida.com.
I don't know about you, but I'm ready to let the good times roll. And by roll, I mean roll on home in a brand new Toyota, because Toyotathon is on at Arlington Toyota. Camry, Corolla, RAV4, Tundra, Tacoma. Arlington Toyota has 300 new Toyotas available. And with Arlington's 30-day exchange program and lifetime warranty with every new purchase, buying your new Toyota is more fun than ever. Toyotathon is on at Arlington, 10939 Atlanta Boulevard, or online anytime at arlingtontoyota.com. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/Toyotathon for full details.
What's up? It's Casey. Check out the podcast Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690, wherever you get your podcasts.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Kevin Winter. Tiger Woods fans don't want to hear it. I'm one of them. We never do. But when Tiger Woods addressed the media today in the Bahamas at the Hero World Challenge, his first comment since his February 23rd car crash, there's a part that has to admit it sounded like a bit of a retirement press conference. Tiger Woods said he's lucky to be alive. He's lucky to have use of his right leg. Lucky it wasn't amputated. His days of playing full-time on tour are done. He hopes that he could return to competitive golf. That's hopes. ESPN's Mike Greenberg.
Part of this that I think is really sad is that as he talks about being resigned to never being able to really compete at the highest level again, you know, you do think to yourself, during Tiger's apex, he was the best player that ever lived. It's not even particularly close. And he is not ever going to fulfill that.
Mike Greenberg from Greeny. Mike Stoops gets a contract extension at Kentucky. Takes him through 2027. New top 25 reveal. College football happens tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Baseball news. Javier Baez goes to the Tigers. 6-year deal, $140 million. Go to the ESPN's Buster Only.
Step up your creativity now during Dell's Cyber Monday event with savings up to $300 off, including deals on the latest PCs with Intel Core processors, shop laptops, monitors, and more. Plus, free shipping. Call 800-BUY-DELL. That's 800-BUY-DELL.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
We're not good enough on either side of the line of scrimmage, and if I was running the Steelers, you have to make some really honest and sober decisions. Go back a couple years ago, Ben McAdoo benched Eli Manning. It was the right decision, even though it was unpopular. And I would find out what you have in Dwayne Haskins, because what was really clear watching that game, guys, Cincinnati was the better team, and it's going to get even dramatically bigger. I don't think Pittsburgh has a lot of good young players. They have a handful: Minka Fitzpatrick, Najee Harris, Devin Bush, T.J. Watt. But the skill players that Cincinnati has and the young defensive alignment they have, I think there's a massive gulf between those two teams.
That is Mike Tannenbaum on ESPN talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I'm going to get this going with who's the weirdest team. They are not the weirdest team. They're just not good. You know, and Ben Roethlisberger's washed.
Yeah.
And Ben Roethlisberger, I think they're going to kind of, in an Eli Manning sense, let him carry it out even longer than they should, because they owe it to him probably, you know, for what he's brought the franchise. Yeah. And I'm okay with that. I'm not a Steelers fan, so I don't care, but I'm okay with that. I mean, you know, you run it back one more time and you see if he's got something left, and maybe he's coming. I thought he would come back and have a pretty decent year, but it's not happening. I mean, they are very, very average, and he's making throws that looks like he's playing a different game sometimes in terms of the speed of the velocity of the ball and the pick against Cincinnati. I mean, listen, when you've lost 3 games in a row to Cincinnati, it might be time to kind of reboot in Pittsburgh. And I don't mean by the whole organization, but I mean at the quarterback spot and everything else.
No, without a doubt. You know, I mean, I get it. Cincinnati, they're an up-and-coming team, but you know, Pittsburgh Steelers, in terms of personnel, in terms of roster, in terms of head coach, I mean, expectations were high this year. And it does start with Big Ben, and Big Ben is just, he's not producing. I watched a lot of that game, and he does just it's bad. It's horrible. And it seems like he had those couple good years where they're passing 60 times a game. They got away with it. They can't sustain that anymore. Now Najee Harris, he could be the future going forward. It could be more of a run-oriented thing, but you have Chase Claypool. You had Smith-Schuster before he got hurt. You got Deontay Johnson, Pat Frymuth really coming on right now as one of the hottest tight ends in the NFL. You have all these guys, you have all these weapons, and you can't get anything from it because of the way Big Ben is playing. So definitely a disappointing season for Pittsburgh because their defense, too, is playing well. I mean, they still have good guys on defense as well. It's just they're 5-5. Well, they're 5-5-1, and that's not where they should be right now.
No, not at all. And I think they're going the wrong direction. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane here at Top Golf Tuesdays at Top Golf. Josh Scobie will join us in the 5 o'clock hour. Also, Zach Miller, former Jags tight end, will join us as well. Casey Kurtz back in the Action Sports Jax studios. We're going around the league. Let me get it going, guys, with this. Who is the weirdest team in the NFL? Like the team, it's a wacky league.
Yes.
Only 6 teams have winning records in the NFC, and they're all like potential Super Bowl caliber teams.
Yes.
Meanwhile, in the AFC, 12 out of the 16 have winning records or 500 or better records. So it's a wild league, and it's kind of a 50-50 league. It's set up to be that way unless you play in Jacksonville or Detroit. But who's the weirdest team in your opinion right now?
To me, the weirdest team is the team that I cannot get a beat on if they're good or if they're bad, and it's the Buffalo Bills.
Interesting.
Because they win the games that they're supposed to win, but then when they play a competitive team, set aside from the Chiefs where they beat the Chiefs, but when they play the Titans, when they play the Jaguars, which wasn't supposed to be a competitive game, but when they play the Colts, they get embarrassed. And I say embarrassed the Jaguars game, but listen, scoring 6 points against the Jaguars, that's embarrassing. So I cannot get a bead on who this Buffalo Bills team is because I thought they're going to be the toast of the AFC. I didn't think it was going to be even close. Right now, they're second in their division. I did not foresee that happening.
Well, and they got a huge one on Monday night against the New England Patriots. Casey, who do you think?
I'm going to have to go with the Chargers. I can't figure that one out. They're either good or bad, but again, I don't know which one. Their quarterback's good, but some games they score 50 and some games they score 13, which makes no sense. So I don't know what's going on in L.A., but I'm confused about the Chargers.
That's interesting. You guys go with them. And I'm going to stay out in the West because I think the wackiest team is Denver. I don't get them. I've put them out to pasture several times.
Yeah.
I don't think they're really that good. Are they really good? They traded Von Miller, and they keep bouncing back, and they beat the Chargers. Why are they beating the Chargers? Why are they crushing the Cowboys? And then they stink it up.
Yeah.
They're 6-5.
Sure.
That is odd to me. And now, listen, there are a lot of teams that you could do this to. But I think the strangest team, because I didn't really have high expectations for the Broncos to begin with.
Yeah.
I think Vic Fangio is just okay. I think they're probably going to move on. But, well, if he keeps doing this and he ends up 9-8,
yeah, do
they move on from Vic Fangio?
I think it's hard to justify, because right now you're still competing for a division title. So, where they're at right now, I mean, they're essentially tied for – I don't know how the tiebreakers work and everything, but, I mean, they're 6-5. So are the Chargers. So are the Raiders. Chiefs 7-4 right now. I mean, I think with what he has at his disposal in terms of the quarterback play even – you probably do keep Vic around. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if there's a better guy out there that you have your eye on, then by all means go after him. But they've definitely, in my opinion, exceeded expectations this year.
Yeah, they've exceeded mine, too. They got off to that start, but they were playing nobody, including the Jags. And listen, the Saints, you could put them down as weird, but now they're sliding, so they're not a back-and-forth team.
But I think, the Saints, I think we know who they are at the end of the day.
I think so, too. Without
Simeon's
Winston
not going to get the job done. We'll see with Taysom Hill, that experiment. He might have one breakout game, and the next game people will figure him out. I think we know who the Saints are.
Yeah. I tell you, the one team right now I thought one of you might say is the Rams. Coming up on Sunday. We think they're good, but are we all wrong? That is strange that they've lost 3 in a row, and in the fashion they've lost it. Yeah. Their defense is not playing lights out, yet they've got mega stars on defense. Their offense is really struggling, and Matthew Stafford is really struggling with McVay. Who saw that coming?
But Matthew Stafford's severely banged up, though. I mean, he's got some pretty serious injuries right now that he has to get right. So, I guess I'm not surprised from that because he's throwing pick sixes nonstop and putting his defense in bad positions. Now, I'm surprised Von Miller hasn't been able to produce more. We'll see how that goes and everything. yeah, they're not achieving expectations right now, but given the criteria in terms of, the injuries and people being banged up, I guess I'm not that surprised. Like, I'm more surprised at the Seahawks than I am of the Rams.
By the way, Russell Wilson, not good. Their offense is pitiful. Like, they have some of the same problems the Jags have. They can't scheme guys open. Like, why aren't they getting guys open?
Well, it doesn't make
how
any
can't you do
sense
something with Metcalf? Now, their offensive line's atrocious, but
yeah. Well, and then he was open a couple of times. That that was trending on Twitter for a while. He missed him in the end zone for an easy touchdown.
Yeah.
It's just
he doesn't
not
look
looking good for the Seahawks.
Yeah, Russell Wilson doesn't look good. Their offensive line. I'll tell you this, though. I don't think he trusts the offensive line. I don't think he trusts his hand. I don't think he trusts much right now. And they have this is the end of the Seattle Seahawks for now. There'll be a reincarnation of them in some sense, but this is the end of the Seahawks. By the way, they have less excuses to suck on offense. They've got Metcalf and Lockett, and Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
I mean, they have 3 superstar caliber players, and they still can't score.
Correct.
That was unbelievable yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, it
and their
seems
defense
like
isn't that great either, so they can't get off the field.
No, for sure. They're definitely so. I mean, I get they have these great receivers. You get the sense that Carroll still wants to run the ball, though. And once again, with injuries, and every team is going through injuries, so injuries to me is not really an excuse.
I agree with that.
But Alex, whoever the case may be, who's ever toting the rock right now for the Seahawks just isn't getting the job done.
All right, Casey, take us around the league. We already did it a little bit, but hope I didn't steal your thunder.
Only 2 of them, and there's only 4 topics, so that's good. So we're staying on Russell Wilson. I made the decision.
Batting 500, good.
Since you already kind of broke down that he's not playing very well, let me ask you this. Is he a Seattle Seahawk in 2022?
Well, I knew you'd go to that question. See, I didn't want to get into that one, so I just led you there. That's called a segue.
Appreciate that.
I think there's a lot of smoke now that he's going to be gone, and I think that's probably accurate. I didn't believe it this offseason. I thought it was just a thing. I don't know if there's animosity. I think more from a reset standpoint. Like, I don't know if Pete Carroll's going to keep going through this thing. Pete Carroll might say, you know what, it's time. Seattle might say, you know what, it's time to move on. This has been a hell of a run for a decade. It might be time to reload, and what can you get for a Russell Wilson? And by the way, I would be a little upset right now if I'm their front office because they made a trade for Jamal Adams, who's a good player, but he's not a difference maker in terms of wins and losses. And you gave away picks, and you gave away the first-round pick, and right now the Jets are using your pick to pick 4th.
Yeah.
Like, that is embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like, you want to talk about all the crazy bad things that have happened in Jacksonville? That is about as bad as it gets. Mm-hmm. When you trade away a first-round pick and the team ends up picking top 5 twice because you gave them their first-round pick. And, again, not for a quarterback, for a safety.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just it's not good. I think Russell Wilson's time is done because the grievances that he had last year in terms of, him staying upright, being protected, well, have those been addressed this year? Or he's still getting hit?
Yeah.
Okay, then. So I think he's all but gone. I think he's going to Cleveland, or I think the dark horse is going to be the Giants.
Interesting.
That is interesting. Cleveland is
Saints were one of the teams that he listed, so keep them in mind, too.
Saints could be an option, but I'm sticking with it. I think it's going to be Cleveland, and the dark horse is the Giants.
Interesting. Let's go to the 49ers, a team that just beat the Jags and have won 3 in a row now. They're 6-5. The rest of their schedule is pretty easy. I won't tell you all, but I'll hit the highlights. Seattle, the Falcons, the Texans, and the Rams. Do they end up making the playoffs?
Yes. I think the 49ers are playing well.
Yeah.
They're good enough to, right? They got healthy. And now Deebo Samuel now goes out for the next couple of games, so keep an eye on that.
Correct.
That'll be interesting. But I really feel like they've got the offense cooking. Jimmy Garoppolo is playing good football. Mm-hmm. They made a move to not really put Trey Lance as part of that offense and make sure he sits on the bench, and it's benefited their offense. It's benefited Garoppolo. He's not doing too much. He doesn't have to do too much. They run the football really well. I think they're in a groove that they don't have to do much, guys, to punch a ticket to the postseason. Basically, right now, you just have to be over 500. And that's a big advantage if you are with – how many games we got left? 6?
6, yeah. The Seahawks, at Seattle, I still think it's going to be a tough game. At Cincinnati, that's going to be a tough game. They have Atlanta. Tennessee's going to be a tough game. And they're at L.A. against the Rams will be a tough game. So I'm not ready to say that they're going to the playoffs just yet, just because also with Deebo Samuel being out now, what is that going to look like? Can Brandon Ayuk step up? George Kittle starting to come along a little bit. He's going to be a big help. I'm not sold on the 49ers making the playoffs.
Let's go back to the Bengals and the Steelers. Bengals beat them twice this year, combined score of 65-20. Is this it? Are the Bengals going to take over for the Steelers and compete with the Ravens year in and year out in that division?
Yeah, I don't know about year in, year out. Keep in mind now, you got to go to recent history. And the Cleveland Browns did this last year to the Steelers, right? And they have Kevin Stefanski as coach of the year. And they look like they've figured it out. And are they going to, give Baker Mayfield, the contract? They've got running game that looks really good. They've got receiver threats. They go out and get Austin Hooper. That hasn't been a great move. They got Joku. He stays. So they've got this lineup. They got Myles Garrett, the best player maybe in the game on defense. So they really look the part. Mm-hmm. But they don't play the part. And so I believe the Jags are an example of this in 2017. The Cleveland Browns last year. Chicago was like this a couple years ago. Are you a one-hit wonder, or are you here to stay? And I think Cincinnati will have to answer that question, and I'm not ready to sign up for the long term. I know they have the quarterback. That's a good thing. Chicago didn't. Jags didn't. Cleveland maybe doesn't.
Yeah.
So that's a plus. But are they good enough to sustain? I'm not ready to go there yet on Cincinnati.
Let me ask you guys this. Who is the best quarterback right now in the AFC North?
Probably them.
Probably Joe Burrow?
Yeah,
Casey?
I'll go with Joe Burrow.
Lamar Jackson. Joe Burrow? Yeah.
I would take him over Lamar Jackson from a consistency standpoint.
Okay. So with that being said, that they've absolutely, I think, flip-flopped now with Pittsburgh in terms of being a competitor every single year in the AFC North, because you're only going to be as good as your quarterback allows you to be. Joe Burrow right now is the best quarterback, arguably, with Lamar Jackson in that division. So I think Cincinnati will definitely be a front runner now just because they have the talent to do that. We don't know what's going to happen with Ben Roethlisberger. What's the plan there? As far as Baker Mayfield's concerned, he's banged up, but he's not playing very well. Yes, you have Nick Chubb. You have, when they're healthy, one of the best running games in the NFL. But, like I said before, you're only as good as your quarterback's going to allow you to be. Go ahead and give me the best quarterback in the division. Give me Joe Burrow.
I like it. Since the Dolphins were disappointed in London by the Jags against all odds, they've won 4 in a row. They are now 5-7. Their schedule the rest of the way: Giants, Jets, Saints, Titans, and then a game against the Patriots. Can they steal a wild card spot?
Give me their schedule again, if you don't mind.
Giants, Jets, Saints, Titans, Patriots. 5-7 right now.
Yeah, I don't think they do. I think, first of all, I think here in Jacksonville, the way they're playing, and they're having Tua play, and he's playing consistent football. And I think if you look at some of the measurables, like the QBR, if you like that one, his QBR is like top 10 over a 16-game stretch now in his career, now that he's played 16 games.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to like not in love with him, but enough to like and win games, and their defense playing better. They figured some things out, okay? Mm-hmm. That's the point. But if I'm Jacksonville and I'm like, hey, if Miami Dolphins have figured out their offense, why the hell can't you? Yeah. I mean, to do enough, at least. And Dolphins have a better defense with the players they have on it, probably. They're built more on that defensive side of the ball. So I'm not answering your question, but I think Miami's an interesting example right now when you juxtapose them against the Jaguars. But I don't think they're good enough to make the postseason. I think they have too many warts, and I don't think the quarterback overall is good enough to elevate. He's good enough to manage, but not elevate.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sold on Tua. I am sold on Jalen Waddle. He's having a heck of a year so far. They can definitely beat the Giants. They can definitely beat the Jets. They can beat the Saints. I mean, can they beat the Titans in Nashville? I'm not sure. And I don't know if they can beat the Patriots. How many wins are we talking here for them? Maybe so they got 5 games remaining, right?
Correct.
They got to win 3 or 4 of those?
Yes. But you'd think they can beat the Giants, Jets, and Saints, but if they did that, that would be 7 in a row with the 4 they already have.
For sure. I think it can be done. The way their defense is playing right now, they're starting to use Myles Gaskin a little more, much to your chagrin, Casey.
Yes,
I hope
sir.
you like that waiver wire pickup because you know how I
it.
felt about Myles Gaskin the entire season. Is Will Fuller okay? Is he coming back anytime soon, or is he done?
Haven't heard or seen Will Fuller anywhere.
Brent, didn't you want him here?
Yeah. They should. Well, they can, now they'll get him when they cut him.
Should have traded for him. Yeah.
No, they'll cut him, and then we'll just pick him up like the 4th time we picked up somebody who runs under a 4.4.
It's all good. You should have traded for him. Gave him the John Brown effect.
Listen, I don't want 4 dang 6th-round picks.
Okay. But I'm saying
I'll give him away for free.
Okay, but I'm saying has Will Fuller played yet?
I don't think so.
Okay, and is South Beach Gary okay?
I thought he called yesterday, but then he hung up.
Oh, did he?
He is alive. Yeah, we heard from him.
Well, he ain't calling now because I'm talking smack about Will Fuller again. I told you. I absolutely told everybody.
But would the Dolphins win like 3 in a row or something? 2 in a row? 3?
Yeah, I mean, I can see them.
4.
Yeah, 4.
Oh, that's 4 in a row?
Yes.
And then the Giants would be 5.
No wonder
Jets
why
would be
he called
6.
for the first time in a month.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, they could easily go 7 in a row here, Brent.
Yeah, they're not going to.
Okay.
All right, last one. Is it fair to criticize the Titans when they legitimately have nobody you've ever heard of playing football for them? I'm serious. None of these dudes you've ever heard of.
No, their wide receivers are just what a bunch of it's a mouthful for the receivers right now. Brent, go ahead.
Well, listen, the bottom line is, no, I don't think we can criticize too much. They've really been beat up, and they've had star players go. And let's just be honest. It's not like Tannehill was playing unbelievable football even when they had guys, you know? So he is not having the season that he had or the seasons that he had the last couple years, even when they had Henry, even when they had A.J. Brown, Julio Jones. But now he's got some excuses. Sooner or later, that's why it was weird what Tennessee was doing, even for a couple weeks without Henry. That stuff catches up to you, man. And they're just not good enough. And they're still not strong enough on defense to overcome all that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I mean, you know how we talk about how the Patriots take away your best wide receiver, so you got to go with your 2 or your tight end or something? I mean, I don't know who the best wide receiver right now is on this team. I mean, it was Josh Reynolds, but I don't know what happened to him.
I believe he's in Detroit.
Oh, yeah, I'm way off. I'm not Reynolds. Rodgers. Chester Rodgers, was it?
Oh, yeah,
Did he have like a big game? Yeah, Chester, sorry.
But they took him away. Rodgers. You know what I mean? He was 1 catch, 2 yards. Had to get rid of him.
And then you got Westbrook, and, yeah, it's just I don't know who Nick Westbrook is. I'm not going to pick him up on the waiver wire or anything, but no, I don't blame the Tennessee Titans right now at all. You lost the guy that is your lifeblood of the team, probably the most important player to his team, and Derrick Henry. You still were suitable. You still beat the Rams with Adrian Peterson, but you still had a guy like A.J. Brown getting the receptions. Now A.J. Brown's out. Julio Jones is out. It's just you can only do so much with what you have, and right now they don't have a lot.
That they do not. That's it, Brent. We did it. We did the thing. Please continue on with your program.
Thank you. Who's going to win next week? Who's your early indication, Bills or Patriots?
Bills.
You still think that? Like, I got more faith in the Bills right now too, but sometimes I don't know if that's a little because I don't want to see the Patriots win.
Yeah, I think
even though I like Mac Jones.
I think it's a little more of me buying into Josh Allen more than Mac. I mean, I think Mac Jones playing great, but I think this could be a breakout game for the Bills in terms of Stephon Diggs.
We haven't really seen like a bad game out of Mac Jones. Like one, I think he had 3 pick games.
Yeah.
But I mean, it really hasn't played bad football. It's which also shows you not having him force too much. But I think you're right. If you need to elevate, and again, the Bills can be very good on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, it can be horrible as well.
It can be horrible as well. But that'll be interesting to watch. You know, it's funny. There's 2 teams that I kind of like to lose.
Okay.
It's the Patriots and the Titans.
Yeah.
And they both have local stars on them. So it's like I'm rooting against our local products.
You are, man.
You know?
Casey, are you pretty nervous about your Super Bowl prediction?
Nah. You know, we're slow playing it. I mean, come on. Look, Patriots are a tough team anyway. You're going to beat the Jags, even if me and you are the receivers. Probably beat the Steelers as well. 49ers going to be tough, but I'm not worried, no.
All right, hey, we'll take a break. What Urban Meyer told the L.A. media about inquiries of Notre Dame. It would have been really a lot more fun if USC hadn't filled the position yet,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
for the LA media.
Speculate. Yeah.
But anyway, what do you have to say about the Notre Dame job and why he's staying in Jacksonville, plus the latest odds on who will be the next coach? Who do you think will be the next coach at Notre Dame? If I give you a list of names, you have to choose one. Also, some really sad news in the area about a local football star. We'll share the latest that's now been confirmed on that front. It's all coming back Tuesdays at Topgolf, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert Forecast on ESPN 690.
Tracking a clear sky this evening, cooling off into the 50s and 40s, then overnight down into the lower to mid 40s, upper 30s well inland. Mostly sunny skies for Wednesday, highs reaching the low 70s. From the Action East Jacks First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Garrett Biedenball.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where now you can save up to 41% off during Beard's anniversary sale. Now is the time to get an estimate on replacement windows. American Window Products of Jacksonville is a high-volume dealer offering a huge selection of products to keep your costs low. New windows from American Window Products can lower your energy costs and increase your curb appeal and security, all without breaking the bank. Call American Window Products for a free estimate at 904-667-0873 or visit AmericanWindowProducts.com.
Jeeps, Chevys, Fords, Hondas, Toyotas, and more. Toyotathon is on, including all makes and models at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Arlington's got 300 used available. Plus, you'll buy with total confidence thanks to Arlington's 30-day exchange program that comes with your purchase. That's 30 days to love your purchase or exchange it. Toyotathon is on, even on used at Arlington Toyota. Shop in person, 10939 Atlanta Boulevard, and online at arlingtontoyota.com today. Visit arlingtontoyota.com/Toyotathon for full details.
You've been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. You have to carefully monitor your health for the rest of your life. And you have an increased risk of developing cardiovascular disease.
Cut, take two, action.
You've been diagnosed with a new purpose, to fight for the amazing life you made for yourself. To look that risk of heart disease square in the face and say, no, not me. You've been given a new opportunity to live. Get started at NoDiabetesByHeart.org.
Do you know a child who is deaf, hard of hearing, blind, or visually impaired? The Florida School for the Deaf and Blind in St. Augustine is a fully accredited, tuition-free state public school that gives children an edge for a lifetime of success. FSDB is nationally recognized for its educational services designed for students' unique communication and accessibility needs. Eligible pre-K and kindergarten through 12th grade students benefit from small class sizes, advanced technology, and various recreation, extracurricular, and performing arts activities. Transportation and boarding services are free to any eligible deaf or blind student, kindergarten through high school, no matter where the student lives in Florida. My name is Trent Ferguson, and I'm a proud graduate of this wonderful school. This place changes lives. To learn more information or to apply for enrollment, call 800-344-3737 or log on to www.fsdbk12.org.
You're pregnant. How far? 1 month, 2. No doctor yet. I can't afford it. Protect yourself and your baby. The health department can help you out. Test for STDs. I don't have diseases. You don't know. You don't always have symptoms. STDs make you and your baby sick. I don't want my baby sick. No one cares more about your baby than you. I'm calling my county health department.
A message from the Florida Department of Health, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Though no longer little, teens still need a lot of love. Yet teens in foster care have a harder time finding it, as 82% of foster families are home to kids 12 or younger. You can positively impact a teen's life as a foster parent with help from Family Support Services of North Florida. You provide patience, love, and understanding, and Family Support Services will offer specialized training, resources, and a community of support. Take the next step at foster-now.org. That's foster-now.org.
This following message is brought to you by the Florida Division of Emergency Management, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and its radio station.
This is Craig Fugate, the former director of Florida Emergency Management. In this time of COVID, you need to update your hurricane preparedness plan. That means knowing what evacuation zone you live in, and in order to leave, you need to go. Take your pets and stay with family or friends, or at an inland hotel. Shelters are another option. Know your zone, know your home. For more information, go to floridastorms.org. That's floridastorms.org.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. I'm a broken traffic light. Stop and go is the name of my game. It's easy. You go, they go. Or was it, they go, you go? And if you have the wrong car insurance, these repair costs could stop you in your tracks. So get Allstate's new low auto rate and be better protected from mayhem. Like me.
Not available in every state based on coverage and limits selected. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
From city streets to back roads. From road warrior to carpooler. There are some things you can always count on. Like the reliability, durability, and power of DieHard, America's most trusted auto battery. No matter where your journey takes you, count on DieHard to get you started on the road ahead. Available at your local Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest stores.
Hey everybody, it's Brett Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. There's a good chance you have a smart speaker, so use it with ESPN 690. Stay up to date on the Jags and all things sports by telling Alexa or Google to play ESPN 690. It's as easy as that. Make sure you listen weekdays 3 until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690.
Very early Sunday morning, USC engaged with some interest and wanted to have a conversation. And honestly, Scott, that's the first conversation at any point in my time at Oklahoma that I'd ever had with another football team. But I think just the history, the tradition, the excitement of the new opportunity was enough that we wanted to have that conversation, and it moved quickly. And it was a tough decision. I mean, leaving a place like Oklahoma is not easy, especially when you have the history that we had there, 7 phenomenal years, some of the best years of our lives, great success on the field, off the field, and we loved Norman.
Well, that is Lincoln Riley, introduced last night as the USC football coach. What's really interesting to me is, I mean, again, money talks. I get it. Money's a lure. Mm-hmm. If they call you Sunday morning and you've made the decision essentially by Monday night, like how hard of a decision was it? Or was it an impulse decision? Like, if you've never talked to others, you never really thought about, hey, I'm going to go here, there. You knew the job was open for a few months, so maybe you just talked about it. Hey, if they are interested, you already talked to your family. Yeah. I'm just wondering, like, if you and I are going to make a decision about a career move, do we make that decision in 36 hours?
It depends how happy you are in your current in your destination.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, one would think that Lincoln Riley was pretty happy in Oklahoma, and maybe that's false. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe there's some behind-the-scenes things that we weren't really seeing. Brian Kelly, the same situation.
Yeah.
Maybe he was fed up with Notre Dame. Like he's been there for a while. Maybe he just wore out his welcome. He wasn't really feeling the whole Notre Dame atmosphere anymore, and maybe that's the case. I always feel like when you make these quick decisions, even regardless of how much money is on the table, I feel like you're leaving a spot that you weren't that big of a fan of. And that's why it makes it so easy for you.
Yeah, and I think, that just feels quick to me. Almost, and hey, maybe jumped into it. Again, the money talks a lot. We already know that, and that's pretty obvious. Here's the quote from Urban Meyer. This is from Greg Beacham, who writes for the Associated Press, covers the Rams. And Urban Meyer did a conference call with the LA media. And he said this about Notre Dame, quote, "I'm not a candidate. Obviously, I spent 6 years of my life there. So great respect for Notre Dame, and as I do USC, UCLA, like we talked about. But I'm committed to the Jaguars and doing the best we can to turn this thing around." And that's it. I mean, so that's assume when we ask him tomorrow, that's what he'll say tomorrow as well. So Urban Meyer staying in Jacksonville. And by the way, I think it's worth noting, he's being asked from the media and other people, but it's not like he got an offer from Notre Dame. And that's certainly not the case. So now, who will be the next Notre Dame head coach? And Luke Fickell seems to be tops on the list. There's some reports saying
that's who I would.
He's got a Catholic background.
Yeah.
They want to get back to their roots in Catholic schools and programs and recruit those areas a little more than they've done in the past.
Yep.
And so there you go. There's some different things that go into the Notre Dame job. But Luke Fickell also makes a lot of sense, right? Kind of Midwest guy, Cincinnati, what he's been able to do. Can he transfer that up to South Bend? Now, the fascinating part of all this is, what does he do? Do you go take your dream job potentially, or this huge opportunity at Notre Dame, which anybody would consider?
Yeah.
Or do you stay with your program and potentially coach in the Final Four?
Well, I think if he was going to Notre Dame, he would see it through at Cincinnati.
You think so?
I mean, I think Notre Dame would understand that. I think he's earned that.
But Brian Kelly said he's not doing that. Notre Dame still has a chance to get in.
Sure. No, and I understand that. I think the Cincinnati, situation is a little different just because, I mean, from what he was able to, when Brian Kelly went to Notre Dame, he elevated it for sure. But it wasn't like Fickell when he elevated Cincinnati, right? At least that's how I feel. I don't know. Maybe Cincinnati was good before Fickell got there. I don't think that's the case.
Okay.
Yeah. But I just think that if you're Notre Dame and this is your guy, whether he shares the same kind of religious background that you believe in, whether he matches a lot of your morals or just your style, if Fickell is your guy, then you let him coach the rest of the season in Cincinnati. If I'm a Bearcats player and I'm playing on an undefeated team right now, I'm trying to go to a college football playoff, and also my coach just leaves, that to me would be devastating. Like, yeah, I get the fighting Irish players are devastated because Brian Kelly left, and I get that sucks as well. And you found out on Twitter and everything. But to me, for whatever reason, at Cincinnati, it would mean it would be that much more just painful if my coach left after we're undefeated. But
Casey, jump in on here. Do you think he stays?
I think it's hard to
coach.
Yeah. I think it would make sense to coach. I think everything that Cincinnati worked for, and then you're just like, I'm out. I think that would not go over well. So, yeah, I think he would see it through with his team, unlike Brian Kelly.
Yeah, I think so, too, but I think we're talking like we'd like to see him do that.
Yeah.
You know, because we'd all like to see him do that. I mean, Brian Kelly was not going to.
But what do you really have to gain for not coaching with your team?
Here's the problem. The problem is the recruiting cycle. I mean, you got to go rescue the recruiting. You don't want to take a month off from recruiting. Now, what they've said, and the Notre Dame athletic director said today, they said, stay out on the road, coaches. We're staying recruiting. But
I think, okay, and I get that, but I think Luke Fickell going to the college football playoff and maybe making some noise there is the most powerful recruiting tool you can do if you're going to Notre Dame. Because you go, look what I did at Cincinnati with a lot less talent. Now I'm going to Notre Dame. Just imagine what we're going to do here. Like, to me, that's the ultimate recruiting tool, is watching him do his thing in Cincinnati, watching him on the sideline, and watching his team play well.
Yeah, there's some other reports, by the way. I don't know. You never know how true these reports are, but Pete Sampson, let's see where he's a beat writer for Notre Dame, so out of the Athletic, so I would assume he has some sources in there. He said multiple sources indicated that Brian Kelly's address to the team on Tuesday morning lasted less than 2 minutes. Then he turned around and walked out. He did not take questions from the players. Somebody responds, only efficient 2-minute offense he's run all season.
Nice.
Let him have it.
That's really
Nice.
good. I mean, how do you do that?
I mean, you obviously don't care.
Well, or do you not feel welcomed by the time the news gets there, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think you're walking into an environment where they find out on Twitter they're not happy. I mean, they're not happy to receive you. Like, I think it's more of just say what you got to say and get the hell out of here because we don't want to talk to you. I mean, that's what I probably saw that conversation going like.
Is Fickell Fickell?
Ooh, you're asking the wrong person.
Hey, man, it's
right.
Fickell. Yeah, that is correct.
Thank you. I just wanted to spell it right on Twitter.
You're welcome.
I'm tired of making mistakes on Twitter while I
tweet
and talk.
Those grammar police are going to get you.
They will.
By
they
the way,
all the time.
how weird would it be if Notre Dame did hire Luke Fickell and your last two coaches came from Cincinnati?
Well, I know. Brian Kelly's
Good
been there.
point.
And maybe that's the route you go because it's worked. I mean, people do that. Listen, Fickell's a hot name. He doesn't do a ton for me. I don't know why. Like, he
it's
really
crazy.
doesn't. You know who I would if I'm a Notre Dame, and by the way, like my family likes Notre Dame, Steph's side of the family. So I think I would rather have Matt Campbell at Iowa State. You know, I think Matt Campbell, if you give me the options, listen, Lane Kiffin's not going there, right? Yeah. Bob Stoops ain't coming out of retirement to go there, and I don't even know if I want that.
Yeah.
You can have a bunch of different guys. There's talk like Matt Rule. Would he leave the NFL? Like, I guess not talk of it, but there's he's in the odds, all right? Could he do that? That interests me, probably.
Okay.
But I think a fit for Notre Dame could be a guy like Matt Campbell. My problem with Fickell a little bit is you better go hire a good offensive coordinator. It's an offensive world.
Sure.
You know, he's a defensive guy.
Sure.
Right? He's a defensive guy. And so I think concerns
now,
me a little bit.
How did Iowa State do this year again?
I know.
Hey,
I
fourth?
know.
Hey.
Fourth? Hey, what? Fourth in the Big 12?
I get it.
Fourth?
But he's been a hot name. He's done a really good job there.
5-4 is okay.
Yeah, you got to look at the whole thing.
The whole thing, you're in fourth place in the Big 12. What more is there to look at?
All right. Well,
the product itself, he's built
Fickell's
it.
done 1 year. I mean, there's not – you got to be careful of that, too.
I think Fickell did pretty good last year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's fine.
So did Campbell, though.
Yeah.
And how did Campbell do this year?
That's fine. You're a what have you done for me lately guy. I get it.
Sure.
But anyway, I don't know. I'm just telling you, as a Notre Dame, like, I don't love Notre Dame, but I don't mind Notre Dame. Like, I kind of root for Notre Dame a little bit, mostly because the fam does. But I think I'd rather have Matt Campbell than Fickell.
I disagree. Yeah, I'm taking Luke Fickell.
Hey, do want to share this. well, let me finish this thought real quick before I get into this. Should Brian Kelly wait to see if Notre Dame makes the playoff? Or based on this 2-minute meeting, maybe he shouldn't have.
No,
You know what I
don't
mean?
think. No, I think it's past
Cincinnati
the
guys
point
aren't
of-
going to be pissed off if Fickell takes the job. Like if he knows if he's got the job.
Once again, though, I think it depends how Fickell goes about it.
Well, no, I'm not
You know?
saying. I'm just telling you right now. I think most people at Notre Dame are mad that Kelly's leaving.
Yeah.
And so even if he stayed, he might not be like warmly welcome to stay. Fickell,
Sure.
they know it's a stepping stone to
No.
wow, you can't turn this down.
No,
you know what I mean?
they definitely understand that, but I definitely feel like, with the whole Brian Kelly situation, if he would have handled it better, it would have lessened the blow.
Yeah.
Maybe he would have got 10 minutes to talk to his team instead of whatever the 2 minutes that they allowed him. So,
so this is what I just want to finish that thought before we get to this. And some really sad news today in the sports world around here. Otis Anderson Jr., I woke up this morning and really got a call early this morning, like 7 o'clock from our newsroom about a story, and they were working on, and it turned out to be true. Otis Anderson Jr. Is dead. A young man who played for University Christian and was a really good player here in high school. Helped win 2 state championships for UC. Then played at UCF and was part of those teams that really took the nation by storm and was part of that prolific offense. In the latter years, Heupel used him a lot down there. Running back, wide receiver, kick returner. I mean, he was a highlight machine and helped rewrite some of the record books. I finished top 10 in a lot of different categories, including total touchdowns, second all-time in yards per carry at UCF, 6.1 per carry running the football. Really good football player. Had a little bit of a cup of coffee with the L.A. Rams. In fact, Jalen Ramsey just tweeted out. The Rams have now tweeted out. UCF's now tweeted out their condolences. It took a while to actually confirm this, and obviously it's a big story to confirm. And I'll let you follow Action News Jax for all the details, but it's a really sad story. And thoughts with his family and David Penland and the University Christian family and everybody at UCF that really knew him. I didn't know him well. We covered him a little bit, but all good things being said about Otis Anderson. An electric smile, and so young, man. And as you'll learn more about this story, you'll realize that it's a very heartbreaking story, the way he was he passed and was killed this morning. I think at his house, or it might have been his parents' house. And so thoughts with all of them. This is David Penland, the University Christian head coach, when our folks at Action News Jax, CBS 47 and Fox 30 caught up with him today.
I mean, he was on the field, he was awesome, and off the field, he was just as good. I mean, if you can just look at everybody's posting about him and the impact that he had in the community and with little kids in the school and signing autographs at UCF. He was just a kid that always had a smile on his face and was very loved. And he was a tremendous human being, and he's going to be greatly missed.
So that's David Penland, the UC coach, and again, state championships with Otis Anderson, 2015 and 16. So many good teams, and he was on a lot of good football teams over the years. So condolences with everybody surrounding the loss of Otis Anderson Jr. Very sad story here today. Way too young, and best thoughts with all of his family and everybody else surrounding that situation. So tough story today in Jacksonville. You don't want to wake up to that, and then you're calling coaches, and you got other coaches calling you in the high school ranks.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, it's been a tough year in high school football in this area. High school sports lost a trio of young coaches, assistant coaches, and men that were very impactful on the community and the football world. And you know that. I mean,
Yeah.
you think about the people that impacted your life from a sports standpoint, from a football standpoint. Some of these kids and teams have had to deal with a lot of tragedy over the last year. So tough day for many in the high school ranks here in the state of Florida. All right, I hate to end the segment that way, but did want to share our best wishes with everybody surrounding the Otis Anderson situation, and also acknowledge what happened today. Again, the LA Rams, UCF, University Christian have now confirmed that what took place earlier today. We'll come back from Top Golf. Coming up at 5 o'clock, we have Josh Scobie welcome us. Jack Miller joins us as well. We talk a little bit more football on the way, and even some Tiger Woods, who talked today about his future in the sport of golf. Tuesdays at Top Golf continues on ESPN 690 right after this.
ESPN 690 Sports Center Update.
What's up, Jacksonville? I'm Casey Kurtz. The Washington football team beat the Seattle Seahawks 17-15 in a game you heard right here on ESPN 690. Antonio Gibson had 29 carries for the football team en route to the victory. Remember, you can hear all Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night football games right here on ESPN 690. The JU and UNF women will be on the court tonight, but UNF will have a tougher task than JU. UNF will travel to Auburn to take on the Tigers at 8 p.m. That game will be on SEC+. The JU women will be on the road as well as they travel to Miami to take on FIU. Tip-off for that one is at 7 p.m. And right here on ESPN 690, the Florida State men's basketball team will be in action as they travel to West Lafayette to take on the number 2 ranked Purdue Boilermakers. Coverage of that will get underway at 7. This Sports Center update sponsored by Jacksonville Chrysler Jeep Dodge. What's up? It's Casey of Action Sports Jax, and I have something brand new to ESPN 690 to share with you. Every Jags home game morning, we are bringing you ESPN 690 Game Day Live from the Duval House. Brent Martineau will be live at the Duval House, right next to the bank, and I'll be in studio getting you ready for a Jags home game, the other games around the NFL, fantasy football, and even some Survivor Pool advice as well. Listen live every Jags home game morning from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. It's ESPN 690 Game Day Live, sponsored by the Duval House.
Looking for a great career that can take you places? The Jacksonville Transportation Authority offers miles of opportunity, and the JTA is now hiring bus operators. We offer competitive pay and benefits with a starting wage of $16.43 per hour. We're offering hiring bonuses from $10,000 to $15,000. CDL training is available, and JTA will pay for relocation to Florida. And the Sunshine State has no income tax, so your paycheck goes further. Stop looking for a job. Get yourself a new career with the JTA.
Sick of big banks drawing money out of Jacksonville? Want your money to stay here and help local folks? At 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union, all of our capital is invested back into Northeast Florida. This includes our all-new hometown credit card. You get all the rewards and perks of a big bank, and every swipe invests back in Jax. Get 2 points for every dollar, up to 50,000 bonus points, 24/7 fraud protection, pay with points, and tons more. Support your community with a hometown credit card from 1-to-1 Financial. Apply at 121fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA, a proud Visa partner.
My name is Sanjay Patani, and I'm an emergency medicine physician. It's the after effects of getting COVID that the young population should be concerned about. There's chronic fatigue syndrome, blood clotting disorders, heart problems. There are long chronic lung problems. The essence of this vaccine is not to prevent you from getting coronavirus. It is from preventing you from getting seriously ill and potentially dying.
This message is sponsored by the Florida Hospital Association, the Florida Medical Association, the Florida Association of Broadcasters, and this radio station.
Hey, boss, did you notice the holiday decorations on your street?
Oh, yeah, it's getting to be that time of year again.
Yeah, makes me so happy I want to sing.
Uh-oh, I smell a song coming on.
It's beginning to look a lot like Crooksmas.
Nice. Packages near every door.
But the prettiest sight to me...
no safe touch signs, you see.
Do-it-yourself alarms we like much more.
A pair of houses in a row.
Do they have safe touch?
No, no, no.
So crooks like us use Crash and Smash
to get inside and take the cash.
It's beginning to look a lot like Crooksmas.
DIY alarms we love for sure.
Crooks know to stay away from Safe Touch houses. Hi, I'm Lester Jackson, president of Safe Touch Security Systems. No one beats our technology or our price.
Call Safe Touch today at 888-723-8682 or go to safetouch.com. State license number EF233.
Mr. and Mrs. Flavor, thank you for joining us.
Great to be here. I'm Barry, the flavor of berry.
I'm Janet. I'm bitter.
And I understand your son is the flavor menthol?
Yes, he's the menthol in a menthol cigarette.
He's such a disappointment. Out there getting people addicted, being used by big tobacco to target black people. He could have been a lozenge.
Menthol cigarettes are harder to quit than regular cigarettes. Find out how to quit today at tobaccofreeflorida.org. Zoom.com.
500,000 businesses connect using Zoom. A single platform for video, phone, chat, and conference rooms. Zoom enables real-time collaboration no matter where your teams are. Global enterprises trust the easy-to-use, reliable, and secure Zoom platform to power high-performance teams. Empower your workforce with Zoom. Save 15% on meetings, chat, and phone with a Zoom United bundle. Visit zoom.com/bundle. Zoom, how the world connects.
Hey, frequent heartburn may keep you from running your A game, but it doesn't have to anymore. Join the Prilosec OTC 2-week challenge. Just go to prilosecotc.com. You'll get $3 off to get you started, plus 14 days of tips, tricks, and reminders. Just 2 weeks, zero heartburn. Go to prilosecotc.com and sign up today. Zero heartburn is possible with Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
We're going to need to fire up the plow. The big one.
Forecast is 6 feet of snow and 66 new customers for Trin Snow Service.
Hey, Terry.
She needs more drivers before business melts away.
What do you mean Dee can't drive? I thought he was certified.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
The NFL is on. Key, Jay, and now Max Kellerman.
Here's a guy that you drafted in the first round that you think could potentially be the successor to Aaron Rodgers in the future, but could he at least be a damn backup?
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Weekday mornings at 6 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ESPN2.
I think he thought about it a few months ago when Scott Woodward, the AD, called him. And I think he thought again. And the reason why he thought again is he saw what James Franklin got at Penn State and Mel Tucker at Michigan State, two coaches who are certainly not quite in his league yet. He saw the Lincoln Riley move, and he said, you know what, I'm 60 years old. I don't have many moves left. I don't have any moves left, frankly, other than the one on the phone right now with LSU, and I'm going to take it. And I think he was essentially saying, I can't win a national championship at Notre Dame. That may sound harsh to Irish fans all over this country, but it's a reality.
That's your guy, Paul Feinbaum.
Man.
Everything's better in the SEC.
Stud, man. What a legend Paul Feinbaum is.
Brent Martineau.
Hater, though, huh?
Austin Lane.
Just kind of being a hater, though, huh?
Yeah. Casey Kurtz.
It's all good. Casey, big Paul Feinbaum guy?
You know it.
Yep. Casey knows. Casey's going to ride this Paul Feinbaum way into the glory land one day. Me and Casey are both on that show, sitting in the Lazy Boys, talking at some SEC football, drinking some hottie toddies. Can't wait.
That's the dream. That's why I signed on with this show, to get to that
better
point.
Believe. Hey, I hear you, man.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah, that's fine. You keep going to Urban Meyer's hometown and having fun with that. Me and Casey drinking hottie toddies.
You know what's interesting to me about all the college stuff too is that we really talk about is the expansion.
Yeah.
So the expansion on the horizon, like I get right now, there's a logjam in the SEC, and so Alabama and Georgia and Florida and throw your other team in. Maybe it is LSU, but sometimes it's Auburn, and right now it's Ole Miss.
Yeah.
You know, and Texas A&M's supposed to be there. So it's it's wild in the West now, and I do think the SEC East is getting a little better, and Oklahoma's coming in and Texas coming in. So, well, if you only have one seat at the party in a Final Four, that's a tough thing to get. And so I understand, like when we were talking about, hey, USC, it's an easier path, right? Well, it still could be an easier path because it might be an automatic bid when they expand. But places like Notre Dame and USC and even Oklahoma and the SEC, you really have a good chance still to get in the expanded playoff if there are 12 teams. It doesn't almost matter where you are now as long as you're successful. Again, Oklahoma's going to have more friction than they've ever had, admittedly. But you still have more seats at the table out of the SEC than you've ever had either once we go to 12.
No, I agree. If you're Brian Kelly, in the next couple of years, if they do expand the playoff, I mean, there's no excuse then. Like, you're getting in the playoff, and then what you do there, that's on you. So that's not necessarily the best excuse. If I was going to say an excuse, though, and maybe I'm wrong and maybe I'm naive here, so in terms of the NIL, like Alabama football players are doing very well, right? Like the SEC players seem to be doing very well because you have the SEC, network, number one. But number two, I mean, every single game you play, it's supposed to be a meaningful game. Notre Dame can't say the same, I think, right now. They have the NBC rights, but do you think it affects players going forward? Now, keep in mind that the NIL is still in its infancy, so we're not really sure what it's going to evolve to, what it's going to look like 5 years from now. But do you think that if Notre Dame stays independent, could that affect recruiting in terms of the NIL, of how much money players could possibly make?
I don't know. I don't really have much thought. I don't know. I don't know if that would.
But I wonder if Chip Kelly, maybe that was a reason.
Kelly, yeah.
I'm sorry, I keep saying
Chip's
Brian
getting
Kelly.
a lot of love today.
He is getting a lot of love. Brian Kelly thought that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that will impact one or the other, right? I mean, or is NIL just going to be NIL? And if you have 1 million TikTok followers, you're going to get.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. Yeah. I'm not sure about that. It's a good thought. How does everything impact all of it down the road, and staying independent versus in a conference, and abiding by those rules versus these rules, all these. So yeah, it's a good thought. I just feel like now if you're good, you're getting in most of the time. I mean, you take the 12 best teams in the country, you're gonna dance at the party.
Sure.
You know, when you get to expansion in a couple years, and all those teams that these guys are either leaving or going to will have that chance if they're successful. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter how many good – well, it does still matter how many good teams are in the SEC, but the bottom line is each year it's going to play out where if you even have two losses, you're probably got a good chance of getting in to that party for the college football expansion. It's a lot going on in that world. Hey, you know, you fight for a living. What's like the thing that's hurt the most on you, like in a fight?
Ooh.
When you got hit, like
definitely my neck.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I have a jacked up neck.
Oh,
yeah.
So like did it hurt this last fight when you landed?
I didn't feel the best.
No.
Yeah, but we're all right.
So that's what you feel the most, like kind of tweaks or
yeah,
whatever?
like through training camp and through a fight, it's definitely the neck. I mean, I broke my nose before sparring. I didn't feel too good.
Yeah.
But I would definitely say the neck.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what hurts me the most? See that right there?
Yeah, you got a little bit of a cut there.
It looks like a paper cut. It's not. It's kind of like just kind of some of the cold from going back up home. And I got a little slice around my thumb.
You getting chapped fingers?
A little chapped finger,
You need to put some chapstick on you need to put some Calmine, not Calmine lotion, whatever, Carmex. There we go.
I'm telling you, it hurts like a son of a gun, man.
Yeah.
Why does that hurt so bad?
I mean,
it's just
lotion,
a little cut. I do
lotion, though, right?
On, but dried out. And
I see you with those blue-collar hands, though.
That's right, man.
Good for you.
Work for a living.
No, you better believe it.
Use these hands for different reasons than you use yours. All right, football at 5 coming up. Josh Scobie, Zach Miller. Zach Miller, what's he doing now? Former Jags tight end. Of course, had the devastating injury with the Chicago Bears. Good player. Career cut short, and he's on to another career. What is it? We'll tell you all about it when we come back. Tuesdays from Topgolf. Some former Jags joining the show. Teammates on the way on ESPN 690.
Can health insurance redefine customer service? With agents who truly know Florida, it can. Our exclusive Florida Blue agents know your area, the doctors in it, and the plan that's right for you. They'll even make sure you get the most from your plan, helping you earn hundreds of dollars in rewards. What else can health insurance do? Find out at floridablue.com. Florida Blue, your local Blue Cross Blue Shield. Rewards available for individual ACA members 18 years or older and subject to the reward program's terms and conditions. Florida Blue is a trade name of Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Florida, Inc.
Looking for a great career that can take you places? The Jacksonville Transportation Authority offers miles of opportunity, and the JTA is now hiring bus operators. We offer competitive pay and benefits with a starting wage of $16.43 per hour. We're offering hiring bonuses from $10,000 to $15,000. CDL training is available, and JTA will pay for relocation to Florida. And the Sunshine State has no income tax, so your paycheck goes further. Stop looking for a job. Get yourself a new career with the JTA.
My part-time service in the Army National Guard makes it possible for me to be more for the community I call home. My training helps me at work when I lead by example. My service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my community and those I care about safe from threats. Learn more about how you too can live and serve part-time close to home by visiting NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Florida Army National Guard, aired by the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Whether you're a rock-solid hard athlete or a hardcore fan, in Little League, a pro, or a weekend warrior, Cora Physical Therapy is here to help you reach your goals. We're happy to announce that Cora is now open in Kingsland, on Boone and Haddock, and we're coming soon to Brunswick. With a total of 17 clinics in the Jacksonville region, there's sure to be one near your home or work. Call or come in today for a free screening. No physician's referral needed. CoraPhysicalTherapy.com. Treating everyone right.
Do you know a child who is deaf, hard of hearing, blind, or visually impaired? The Florida School for the Deaf and Blind in St. Augustine offers a tuition-free educational program to prepare the child for a lifetime of success. FSDB offers free comprehensive education, transportation, and boarding services at no cost to all eligible deaf or blind students, elementary through high school, no matter where the student lives in Florida. Call 800-344-3737 or log on to www.fsdbk12.org to learn more.
5G is here, but the big carriers want you to sign a pricey long-term contract to get in on the action. Well, no more, because Straight Talk Wireless has rolled out 5G coverage nationwide, with plans starting at just $35 a month with no contract. And get a Samsung Galaxy A32 5G for only $299, all on America's best networks. 5G coverage, 5G phones, less money. Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise. 5G capable device required, actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? So your wipers are streaking. It might be time for a new set. We've got a great deal to help you get the job done and be ready for the weather ahead. Right now, you can get a $15 AutoZone gift card by mail or email when you buy 2 Bosch Envision wiper blades. And we've got even more ways to shop. Just order online with our free same-day store pickup or next-day delivery.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Start your job today at AutoZone.com. Restrictions apply.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 904-600-4000. That's 904-600-4000. ESPN 690. Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Kevin Richard. Tiger Woods speaking publicly this morning for the first time since his car crash back in February. A crash which left both of his legs severely damaged, the right more damaged than the left, to the point where Tiger thought his right leg would need to be amputated. It's been a long grind to get to this point, which has had Tiger Woods finally hitting golf balls last week after spending 3 months in a hospital bed.
Transition from wheelchair to crutches to now nothing. It's been a lot of hard work. I'm very thankful to all the surgeons and especially the nurses who are the unsung heroes through all of it, who were there, by my bed and kept my spirits up, all my friends and family. There were some tough times in there.
Tiger Woods admitted he will never play a full tournament schedule again. He doesn't want to go through the grind of doing so. Tiger also said he's not sure when he'd be able to play a PGA Tour tournament event. Javier Baez headed to the Detroit Tigers, 6-year, $140 million deal. This, according to ESPN's Buster Olney. Hockey news, the Boston Bruins announced their head coach, Bruce Cassidy, has been placed in COVID-19 protocols.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
Broadcasting live from the ESPN 690 Anajar and Levine studios.
This is Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690 with Brent Martineau and Austin Lane.
Hey, welcome back. Tuesdays at Top Golf. Football at 5. Been talking about the college football world, which is just crazy right now. In the college basketball season just yet?
Am I into it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Really?
Let's go Racers.
All right. How's Murray State?
The women's team's doing very good. No, the men's team's doing okay, too. Yeah.
Are they good? I mean, do you think they got people in after Ja Morant? Or is he just like a one-time wonder? And you?
Well, careful now, because, I mean, before Ja Morant, there was Cam Payne, who plays for the Suns. Yeah. Before Cam Payne, there was Isaiah Cannon, who used to be on the Bulls. So they're doing okay, and I think they're 4-1, 5-1, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah. I'm sorry, 6-1. I stand corrected. So, yeah, they're doing pretty well.
All right.
It's just it comes down to, well, I think Belmont might be out this year. I'm not sure how the whole Belmont thing works, but Belmont's always the team to beat.
Yeah, there's always jockeying, too, in these conferences.
Yeah.
A lot going on in that world. UNF Ospreys still in the A-Sun, and go to UNFospreys.com for more information about their schedule, news, results, also how you can get tickets to upcoming games as basketball season is in play for both the women and the men. Women at Auburn tonight and they are very good this year. I'm not sure they're good enough to beat Auburn, but they are very good. We'll find out, and they might be. Meanwhile, the men coming off this crazy road trip, they still got the Gators to play in December.
Murderers
They'll be
Row
home on Thursday night, though. It'll be nice to see them home. UNFospreys.com. It'll be Edward Waters against UNF coming up on Thursday.
Are you calling these UNF games?
Calling most of them. Like Thursday,
Okay.
I won't call that one because I have Jaguars All Access.
Sure.
So I got to pick my spots. But
Have
most
we
of them starting in January.
Have we established a catchphrase yet?
No, I think you wanted me to go to
From the land of good and plenty.
Good and plenty.
Someone got a 3-pointer, and you didn't do that yet.
The problem with that one is I don't like good and plenties.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, they're not ideal. They stick to your teeth, but it's catchy.
If I get famous and I become like this guy because I said land of good and
well,
plenty, which by the way
you
has
don't
been used before.
Oh, yeah, but not from you
and
though.
Then so they say, hey,
not with that Brent Martineau energy.
Brent, you signed an endorsement for good and plenties. I'm like, I don't like those that much.
Okay, man, I'm trying to help you out. Don't take my advice. But you better hope that JU doesn't come calling and I get a job with JU calling games because I will come over the top on you real quick, and I'll be getting all the endorsements. You just better hope that doesn't happen.
That'll be the next thing that you do.
Oh, because I have so many good one-liners just ready to go, just waiting for a team to call me up.
Listen, I feel like I'm accomplished today because of our guests that we have on right
yeah.
now. Now, Josh Scobie joins us each and every Tuesday from Topgolf. He's walking in. He didn't bail on us today.
I like it.
A couple weeks ago, he was in Pinehurst. Then he went back home for the holiday.
Yep.
And here comes Josh Scobie. I've been working on this for a while. We have you each and every week, Tuesdays
Sure.
at Topgolf. And now we welcome in Zach Miller, former Jaguars tight end, former Chicago Bear. And what else is he doing now? We'll get into that in a moment. Zach Miller, what's happening, man? Hope you had a good Thanksgiving.
What's going on, fellas? I did have a good Thanksgiving. I hope the same for you. I ate and drank too much, though.
Hey, both things very good. Hope the family's doing well. Zach Miller, one of my favorite Jags. You guys don't make that list. Brad Meester is on the list. Zach Miller's on the list. We do the segment called Jags Dads, and Zach Miller was one of the first ones to do the segment.
Nice.
How's the family now? How old are those kids?
They're doing great, man. Thank you for asking. Bella is about to be 12 here in February. She has a couple more months. And then Cashin, our middle child, who acts like a middle child, is 10 or 11. Or he's 10. Yeah, he's 10. Sorry. And then our youngest is 4. So we got our hands full with these crazy children of ours.
Absolutely. Well, say hello to your former teammates, Josh Scobie, Austin Lane. Go ahead. You guys can take it away.
What's up,
What's up, Josh? Good to see you, man. Well, first off, I'm saying what's up to Josh Scobie because I haven't seen him in a couple weeks, so good to see you, Josh Scobie. Zach, man, long time no see, though. How is life? How's everything going? You're kind of on a new endeavor, if you will, and I was shocked by it. Did not see that happening. What have you been up to?
Man, I've just been playing music, that's all. Less violent stuff than you're up to. I'll say that. I'm not going in the octagon anytime soon.
Yeah, that's probably a good plan. Zach, it's Josh Scobie.
Sco, what's up, man?
How are you, buddy?
I'm doing great. Good to hear from you.
Hey, I've heard your music, and I'm not only am I impressed, but I'm very jealous because any wife that we get to listen to your music, they're all like, "Oh my gosh, he sings really well and he's good looking." So I need you to stop doing what you're doing.
I can't do that yet, man. I'm just trying to figure this thing out. But I'll tell you, man, I'm having a good time doing it. It wasn't anything that I ever saw myself getting into. I'd always loved music from a young age, and then sports they kind of took precedence growing up. But, fast forwarding through, our time in the NFL and all that stuff, when it all transpired and got finished, I needed something to do. So I took up writing just to kind of clear my head, going through some things at the end of my career, and that's kind of where it led me to. So I still don't know what I'm doing, but I thoroughly enjoy it.
Well, Zach, I have to ask you, how did you get stuck on this genre? Because one of my first interactions with you was when we were working out in the off season, and you were playing the weekend House of Balloons in the weight room because you had dibs on the iPod. I think it was an iPod back then even. So you had dibs on the iPod. You're playing the weekend House of Balloons. Then we always used to have the jokes of we're going to start a Radiohead cover band with me and you. And now we see you kind of branch more into country music. What made you go down that road?
Honestly, I mean, if I wanted to be something, it would have been this like singer-songwriter and blend these genres. And to be honest with you, man, hip-hop and rap are still my favorite. That's still my favorite genre to listen to. It's heavily rooted in who I am. I don't know how. I mean, I grew up in Nebraska, so I don't know where that trickled into my life, but it's just been that way. And then obviously being in locker rooms, you guys know that hip-hop is prevalent in the locker rooms at all times. And when I started writing, I wanted to be like in this singer-songwriter lane. And I think one of the first songs I had written, it hit me. I'm like, damn it, I'm really from Nebraska, and this stuff sounds kind of country. And that's just kind of how it transpired and came out. And now, like, I'm at this stage where it's so early in a I guess musical career, if you would ever call it one. I can bounce around with different genres and figure things out and try and get to a sound where I feel like is going to be really who I am. And so I'm still kind of messing around at that point. But that's how the first two kind of just came out. It was what I was writing at the time and just linked up with the producer in Nashville, and we put together those first two, and away we went.
That's pretty cool. Brent Martineau, Josh Scobie, Austin Lane, joined by former Jags tight end, Chicago Bears tight end, Zach Miller, now doing country music. I'm a country music guy, so I like it. And Casey, let's play a little bit of one of those singles, maybe How You Like Us Now. He's got two singles out, I was hoping. I think a third one's coming. We'll ask you about it coming up this weekend. But
yes,
here's a little listen of the How You Like Us Now from Zach Miller.
Was rolling on the back roads, flying where the dust goes, watching the sun sink below them fields. Now I'm sitting under city lights, blown through the stoplights, life looking like a damn highlight reel. I've been around the world, see some things, went from store-bought jewelry to 5-carat custom diamond rings. So how you like us now? And everything's cool round our way. We don't give a damn what y'all say.
We're going to play more of this in a little bit. But it gives me chills, man. I mean, that is good stuff.
Crazy,
again, I'm a country guy, so I like that. I'm buying that single. What else is out there? What are you working on? Do you have one coming out later this week? Is that what we hear?
Yeah, I do. I got one coming out December 3rd, so it's coming out this Friday. Just went down to Nashville and recorded that one about a month ago. I got a producer down there. His name's Colt Caparoon, who has been tremendous help in me kind of figure this whole thing out. And he's really good at what he does and being able to put it out, take my ideas and kind of get them, in this linear position where we can put it together into a song. So next one that's coming out is called Torn Up. It's slightly different than the first two that are out in the sense of just the way that it sounds. I told you guys I'm trying to find, different sounds and blend these things together. So this one's a little bit different than the first two. So I hope you guys get to like it when it does come out. But that's really it. Hearing that first one, How You Like Us Now, man, that's crazy. I really ain't heard it played, in that sense of me listening to it. I never really like to listen to my own interviews. I don't really like to listen to my own music as well, but it's pretty cool to hear it on the radio, so thank you for playing that for a little bit.
Well, you should be comfortable in your own skin because it sounds amazing. It's kind of, to me, it's like a blend between Sam Hunt and Jason Aldean, like that type of country music, because I'm not a big country music fan. I mean, even though I grew up in the South listening to country music and whatnot, I was more of a hip-hop rap fan, and so but I can hear that in you, and obviously knowing you, I know you like rap music, I know you like hip-hop, so I can kind of hear that. So keep doing what you're doing, and I mean it sounds great, so keep rolling with it.
That, man.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, man, regardless of the genre that you find yourself in or whatever the end product's going to be, I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. You can recognize talent. And like that, what we played right there, which I've heard a million times before, I've listened to it a lot, that's talent, man. And that's really cool to see. I wanted to ask you, Zach, because obviously you played ball on the biggest of stages. You know, you're catching touchdowns against the Green Bay Packers when you're playing for the Bears in that big rivalry and everything. But what is that rush like, and how does it compare to playing in the league as opposed to, playing in front of people, sharing your art with people, like at festivals and things? Like, where does that relate to in terms of, I guess, nerves per se, and how anxious that you get?
Yeah, I love that question because it was one of those that I wondered as well. I feel like every musician wants to be in some form of athletics. There's a crossover between sports and music and sports, and I think every athlete, we want to be able to sing and play music and do all that stuff. And I was way more nervous getting ready to play music at a bar in Omaha, Nebraska, in front of like 30 people than I ever was running onto a football field. And I think it was just because there was nowhere to hide. Like we go out on the football field, I got pads on, helmet on. Aside from a blatant in-your-face play that somebody could see you mess up, they don't really know, right? Like, unless a ball bounces off my head or we miss a kick scope or like.
Oh, yeah, I was about to say, you sound like a kicker right now.
Right. Like, unless that happens, like, not many people will be like, oh, Zach missed that play, right? Yeah. When it's different when you're on stage, and it's just me with the guitar. Like, if I mess up, they're going to hear it all. So I needed to get over that fear of wanting everything to be perfect because it's just music. And that was it took a couple times. And then once I got into it, I was like, all right, I played 4 or 5 gigs. And these are just little small bars. I was like, okay, it's just music. Go up, do your thing, have fun. And then everybody could feel that. So it's just more of kind of relaxing. But I was way more nervous, for the music thing than I was for football.
Zach Miller with us, along with his former teammates, Josh Scobie, Austin Lane, and Zach Miller, former Jags tight end, played for the Chicago Bears, now a musician in the country music genre, and maybe even expanding. We'll see, but it sounds good. 2 singles out. Got another one coming out on Friday. And all you have to do, today on iTunes, I just searched Zach Miller, and boom, there they were, and we're playing you a little bit of them. Going to play you some more in just a moment. But, you bring up the football days, and I got to ask you this. One, how's the leg? 2, how long did it take you to come to peace with your career being over and how it ended? Because you were playing good football, man. And then the last part of that, and I can ask you again if you forget, but you kind of said the music and the writing was somewhat therapeutic. How much did that help you kind of settle into this second life?
Yep. So, first question, leg's doing okay. I'll tell you, everybody I had around me, from a medical standpoint to a support system, everybody around there, it couldn't have been any better to have the outcome that I had, because there was a lot of stuff that was weighing, and it could have went a complete different route. And thankfully it did not. I still have my leg. I got a lot of residual stuff as far as nerve damage. Don't really have full function of my foot as far as like the dorsiflexion and stuff. I still got a little bit of drop foot. And my leg, it's pretty much numb from like my knee down to sensations. Extreme hot, cold is intensified, but like overall, like I'm blessed to have a leg, and that's a good thing. I've got good days, I got bad days, and that's that, So I'm feel really fortunate to kind of just be in the situation that I am in as far as being able to make it out of that the way that I did. Number 2, coming to terms with how it ended. Listen, man, I don't think anybody wants to be forced out of the game, and probably, most of us aren't really happy when it ends, regardless of the way it does. Very few people get a way to walk away on their own, which is awesome. But it took a little bit just to understand, to accept that the injury happened, and that's that, and this is just the way of life, and you can't change it anymore, right? So it took a little bit, but being able to stick around with Chicago the year after I got injured, they let me hang around and still be part of the team, was a huge, I think, factor in helping me in acceptance, if I can put it that way, just to know that They were doing their best to keep me involved in the game and let me figure out if I needed to stick around, if I wanted to stick around. So that was a blessing in itself to do that. And then the third question you asked about the writing to get through it, correct?
Yeah, I did. And sit on that question for a moment because I want to play this verse, and I think Casey has it set up, and that way you can listen to your song again because I kind of think it's cool that you haven't done that very often. But I think this is the second verse, and I think this has to do with some of that therapeutic writing. Casey, if you don't mind playing the next part.
Probably never see a stage. How do you like me now? How do you like me now? And everything's cool round our way. We don't give a damn what y'all say. We're right here doing our own thing. 100 miles an hour, never switching lanes. Don't try to hold us down, but we won't stay. We making rules to the game. You can't play. How you like us now? She paid those bills, we living different now. Got a little house on a hill. Province is on an island that can never be. And where I'm from, that's something they say we never see. Kicked up, sipping on a cold drink, watching the sun go down. How you like us now? Cause everything's cool round our way. And we don't give a damn what y'all say. We're right here doing.
Let's bring Zach Miller back into it. That's How You Like Us Now is his first single that he released as a musician, and I couldn't help but hear that last verse and think about what I asked you, some of that therapeutic writing. Can you take us through that process? How much of it went into that song?
Man. So here's the thing. When I was going through that recovery, I needed to be someplace else, anywhere than where I was. And for me to start writing and go back and be in some of those places that I was writing about. I have probably, I don't even know, 50, 60 songs that I've written, that I'm going to pick and choose that are going to eventually continue to come out. But what that was for me was going and escaping to those places. How You Like Us Now was one of those songs where I grew up in a town of 300 people, and Scobe, Austin, like, I don't know, Brent, even for you, like, as a young kid, like, I had crazy dreams of doing things on, like, the biggest stage, football, to be specific, right? And from where I was coming from, not many people believed in those dreams. And that's what that song was about, because regardless of what anybody else thought, and because you grow up in that community and most people think you're crazy, and you got people who don't think you're going to do it. You got a lot of people who maybe there's some jealousy or all the things, and then you got your group of people that are like, I got your back no matter what. And that's what that song was. It was, as much as I went through from a young age through high school, through college, and the goals that I wanted to do, when stuff didn't work out, you kept pressing, and then it finally all pays off, right? So that song was just about for the people who dream, and they don't care about anybody else on the sideline who's saying, oh, he'll never do it, he'll never do this, he'll probably never play, right? That's where that lyric comes from. He'll probably never play, he'll probably never see a stage. Well, at this stage of the game, I've kind of done both of them, and that was the escape for me, and that's how the whole process kind of started, and then it just took off from there because I loved it so much.
Yeah, very well said, man. Pretty cool stuff. I'm going to ask you, you're talking to two guys, by the way, Iola, Scandinavia, Wisconsin, Louisiana guy.
Texas,
how big was Texas, how big was your hometown? Like,
it wasn't very big. It was, 90,000 people. But, everything that you were saying in there, Zach, I could feel because, as an athlete, as someone that played in the NFL, we all have those people that are the kind of detractors and people that don't think you're ever going to make it. So it's kind of cool to see you lay that out in lyrics and talk about it. And, as someone that their career didn't end the way they wanted it to with me, I mean, it's fun to see you have that outlet, and you need that outlet as an athlete whenever your career is done, because if you don't, then bad things can happen.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's so cool. I mean, and like I get it, man. From your standpoint, I'm sure you feel like you still have a long ways to go in terms of your music career. I feel like you made it already, man, because as far as your songs are concerned,
I love it.
You're absolutely crushing it. But I'm reminded, we had a former teammate of yours as well, Russell Allen, on about a year ago, and we talked about the transition out of the league, because you have to be here at a certain time, you have to do this a certain way, and like it's kind of just repetitive since we were kids. And then as we grow to get to the league, like you're at the highest level, but you're doing the exact same thing. It's still the same game. And then one day someone's going to tell you either you're too old, or maybe because you're hurt, or you're not good enough anymore, but that game goes away. And everything that was ingrained in your habits and your work and everything, that's gone. And now you're kind of in limbo of what do you do next. And a lot of guys get lost with that. So it is so cool seeing you have this outlet, Zach, where you're obviously crushing it with your music, but it's cool that you found something else, because, the game was taken away from you. Let's not lie. Let's not sugarcoat things. I mean, it's not fair what happened to you, but that's life. But it's so cool to see that, you took that moment, that painful moment, those memories, and you turned them into something great. And you're sharing it with people, and you're sharing your story with people. And it's really cool to hear, and it's really cool to talk to you and just, kind of pick your brain about it a little bit.
No, that's awesome, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, Zach Miller's with us. All right, there's a storyteller in me that this is one of the reasons I wanted to have this conversation and bring Zach into it, because it's really interesting listening to you guys it's like behind the music we're going right now.
yeah.
It's like
VH1.
But it's really pretty wild to me is this, and I tweeted this at the start of the segment, and when I shared that you were coming on, I said, when you're a football player, and when we talk the Jags or Chicago and these fan bases and the game that you guys played, you're a football player. I mean, that's it. To fans and to really sometimes the organization, you don't want to be like, hey, you're just a piece of meat, but you're just a football player.
Oh, yeah.
That's all we kind of say, right?
And that's fine.
And that's okay. You get paid a good amount of money, make a good living, and most of the time it's pretty good. But obviously you're also family men behind that. And now you look at you guys in particular, right? Zach's playing music. Obviously had the devastation of the leg injury. Austin's fighting and doing radio for a living.
Just won a big fight.
Just won a big fight, but also had the devastation of the Greg Hardy fight. Went through some of that and had his career end.
Yep.
Josh, you had the tough time in Pittsburgh when you had that the downside there, and now I know you're still a big-time ambassador, community guy here in Jacksonville.
Golf.
And seriously, golf is a thing. No, it's like, it's a real thing. Like, I mean, so my point being, like, you're more than just football players, and we find that out. And Austin and I talk about this a lot on the show. So, how long did it take you to find out you were more than just a football player? I'm just asking all three of you guys. So go around the horn, Josh.
Oh man, it probably took, I would say, a good year and a half, 2 years or so after my last game, because you go through different, moments of, number one, depression, because your football career is over. Your professional career as what you played is over, and it's over. And that's a hard reality to face. So it takes a long time for you to actually get through that. So, number one, you're stressed. Then you try and kind of fake it to where you're like, all right, I feel better. I'm going to go work out every day. And then you don't have a real purpose for what you're working out for. So I had to find something that, like a reason why I was going to the gym every day and trying to get better at something. And I was playing golf at a high level, competitive level before football had ended. So I made that my goal. Like, I'm going to get better at golf every day, and I'm going to make my purpose every day that I wake up for golf. And obviously my kids and family and all that. But, as a former athlete, you need something else. And, fortunately, golf was my outlet.
Yeah, and you just decided to fight people for a living and then found radio.
No, for sure. Well, for me personally.
Which, by the way, Zach, isn't that all he did at practice anyway?
Yeah, really.
Well, here's the crazy thing. I think of all the times I got in a fight, whether it was with Eben Britton, Montel Owens, I never fought Scobie, unfortunately.
Thank goodness.
But I don't think, Zach, if we ever get in a fight, which is kind of crazy because, you line up for me all the time, but I think we were too cool with each other when we never ended up getting in a fight.
We were way too cool with each other for that.
Yeah.
I've been like, you got this one, man. I ain't trying to get get knocked out over here.
Can you imagine you getting in a fight now with someone?
Oh man, I wish. I wish I could go back to the days of Ooch trying to pull my hair and everything in a pile. I wish I could use some moves on him now, but it is what it is, man. Those days are long gone. But to quick answer your question, Brent, thankfully for me, MMA was there even when I was still in Jacksonville because I started training it. And I knew I had that in my back pocket, and when I got to the league, I made a promise to myself that if it stopped being fun, if it started feeling like a job, I would walk away. I'd be cool with that because I'd have MMA in my back pocket then eventually. And that's what happened in Chicago. And I'm not sure if Zach knows this story or not, but, when I got cut from the Bears the first time, I got cut twice in one day. They gave me a call, said I got cut. I'm driving to the practice facility in Lake Forest, and they gave me another call saying, we actually made a mistake. You're not cut. And they said, if we don't call you back by 3 o'clock, you're on the team. Well, it's 3:30. I have family in town. We're celebrating at this restaurant, and I get another phone call saying, we actually made a mistake the first time. You are cut. And the reason what happened was they're trying to trade me. The trade fell through, so I get cut twice in one day. That moment stopped being fun for me because then I started to feel like a pawn in a chess game. And I'm like, whatever happens from this, so be it. But I know once I'm done, and MMA is going to be there. So it was an easy transition for me because I had plan B in my pocket.
Zach, sounds like your next country song.
Yeah, no kidding. We might have to sit down and write that one, guys.
He went from fighting for his job to fighting for his job.
Right job.
Yeah.
Boom. I just wrote
there you go.
a lyric right
there.
And
now I'm fighting for airtime with Brent Martineau, so it's awesome. Man.
That's tough, too. Might be the toughest thing he's ever had to do.
We got a bunch of material to write about.
Zach, you've kind of answered it, but did you always know you were going to do something else? I mean, you talked about growing up small town. Your story's awesome, too, by the way. Nebraska, Omaha, quarterback. You're one of the first guys to really transition from quarterback to tight end. Then they tried everybody to do it.
Well, it doesn't have a school to cheer for anymore either. The school's gone.
School's gone.
Yeah,
school's gone?
Well, no, the
they
team's
took
gone.
Football away from Nebraska, Omaha. The schools there, they just don't play football anymore. So that's a whole nother segment we can talk about.
Yeah. So what did you never ever you just always thought you'd be a football player and then just kind of hang it up?
Nah, so I figured that I would transition into some form of coaching or scouting or something still involved in the game of football, and that was something that was still on the table after I got injured. And like I told you guys earlier, I stayed that next year and really focused on rehab, but I actually did a lot of I wouldn't call it coaching, but I did a lot of that stuff behind the scenes. I was cutting up tape for our tight end room. I was making, certain packages, blitz packages, coverage packages for our third down and red zone stuff. So I was doing a lot of kind of like the intern work, the quality control work that goes behind the scenes, for a regular football season. And it was partly to see if I enjoyed it and if I wanted to do it. And I do love the game of football. I love what it brings. I love the challenges. But at that point in time for where I was at, mentally and physically, like mentally I still wanted to play the game, right? Physically I couldn't. So it tore me up being there every single day doing the things that I was doing but couldn't physically go out and do that. So it wasn't fulfilling for me at that point. Now, I don't know if there'll be a point where I miss it so much that I want to go back and maybe get into that lane. But right now, I love playing music. Even if my music never was any good and nobody listened to it, I thoroughly enjoy writing and playing music. Regardless if I played it for anybody else, like it makes me happy. So that was where I got to this level of acceptance kind of as an artist of I'm not really creating music, and I don't want this to ever be like an insensitive thing to say, but I'm never really creating music for anybody else. And I don't think really any artists make music for anybody else except themselves. And then if they put it out and other people love it, then it becomes their music, right? Like if we hear a song and we're like, damn, I love that song, then it kind of becomes all of our songs, right? We all grew up listening to hip hop and like when you heard that, like, damn, did you hear this? Like that's good, and then it's ours. If we didn't like it, the artist who put it out still loved it enough to put it out to the world. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's where the level of acceptance for me as an artist is like, listen, if I'm having fun doing this, and this is what I really truly love right now, I'm gonna do it as long as I can, and until it, like Austin said earlier, till it doesn't till it's not fun anymore.
Well, you're
And
doing
that's
a
kind of
great
where I
job
was
of it.
at with this.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, hey, I told you we'd keep you on for 10 or 15 minutes. It's been like a half hour.
We
so
went long.
Hope you didn't have to pick up the kids or go to a practice.
No, that's all good. We got our practice later, so I know we've been pushing it the last, it's probably been a month, maybe longer. You guys have been trying to get me to come on, so I apologize.
Well, there's a reason we wanted you on. It's because it's really good stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's great stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I love talking about golf with these guys. Not really, but it's all good. But, Zach, anytime you want to come back on the show, please do, man.
Yeah, man. It was cool just to talk to you guys. It's been too long, so hopefully we get down to Jacksonville here. It's starting to get cold, so maybe Kristen and I will shoot on down to Jacksonville. We can hang out and catch some sun down there.
Come on down and don't hang up just yet, even though we're going to say goodbye. We'll play your other song going to break, but we do want to say thanks for coming on. Good luck with the music career. New song coming out on Friday. Tell everybody how to get it.
Yeah, man. Torn Up. It'll be out Friday, December 3rd. It'll be out everywhere, anywhere you can stream music. Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, iTunes. I know, Scobie, the day that we grew up in, maybe you too, Brent, it's out on Napster. It'll be out there on Napster. They still listen to music on that.
Bear Share. Shout out to Bear Share.
That's awesome.
We might get prosecuted if we download it.
It's there. It'll be out there for anybody to listen to. So if you guys like it, please stream it. That'd be cool. I'd love that.
All right. How You Like Us Now is awesome. We're going to play I Was Hoping in just a moment, and Torn Up coming out on Friday. Zach Miller, say hello to the family, man. Thanks for taking some time for us, and have a good, happy holiday season.
Likewise, man. Appreciate you guys.
All right.
All right.
That's
Thanks,
Zach Miller, former Jags tight end, former Chicago Bear tight end. And we'll come back with Josh Scobie, Austin Lane. But that was a lot of fun.
That was awesome,
good to catch up with Zach.
Great to hear from
and
him.
When we come back, Tuesdays from Top Golf continues. Here's I Was Hoping. Zach Miller as we continue on ESPN 690.
Yeah, and a passer on the shoulder, man, I try to play it cool. I'm right behind her in a hallway, damn, I'm enjoying the view. And a couple years later, we were trading I love you. In a backseat on a back street, do whatever come to mind. We're in a backseat on a back street, with the body on mine. Girl, I'll be lying if I said I wasn't lost in her soul. Stay with me, baby, I don't want you to go. We're in a backseat on the back street.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Tracking a clear sky this evening, cooling off into the 50s and 40s, then overnight down into the lower to mid 40s, upper 30s well inland. Mostly sunny skies for Wednesday, highs reaching the low 70s. From the Action East Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Garrett Biedenball.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds, where now you can save up to 41% off during Beard's anniversary sale.
For the ones finding new ways to ensure the job always gets done. For the ones wearing many hats. For the ones who are hands-on, even from far away. And the ones keeping business moving forward. We are Grainger, offering supplies and solutions for every industry, with 24/7 support and experienced staff at over 250 local branches. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-333-1750. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-333-1750. That's 800-333-1750. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-333-1750. 800-333-1750.
The right time for the best water is right now. CGC Water Treatment wants to make sure your family's water is clean, healthy, and tastes great. CGC Water's done that for my family for a handful of years now, and it all starts with a Connecticut system. American-made and installed by the pros at CGC Water Treatment. Contact CGC Water Treatment now for your free water test. Connecticut systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Connecticut makes the world's most efficient softeners, twin-tank, non-electric systems that use less salt and water during regeneration. Right now, save up to $600 on select system packages. Financing available with approved credit. Just call CGC Water at 904-552-1242 and ask about the Conway Club, the new service program that will save you money on salt, filters, delivery, parts, and labor. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars and your local independent Connecticut dealer.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-343-8638. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-343-8638. 800-343-8638. 800-343-8638.
Want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Owen. I'm a cigarette.
Do you like being a cigarette?
No, I don't. Not really into killing thousands of people. Sorry, no filter.
Right.
What's your sign?
Pisces?
I'm a Cancer. Cigarette joke. But seriously, I do cause cancer. And heart disease. And strokes. I could go on forever. Unlike the people who smoke me.
The average smoker lives 10 years less than non-smokers. Quit today. Find out how at tobaccofreeflorida.com.
A healthier you is the first step toward a healthy baby. When planning a pregnancy, baby steps toward better health can deliver big results. Exercising regularly and eating a balanced diet will help you reach or maintain a healthy weight and increase the likelihood of a healthy baby. Taking a multivitamin containing folic acid every day helps prevent birth defects, and regular medical and dental checkups are especially important when planning for pregnancy. To learn more about taking your baby steps toward a healthy pregnancy, call Florida's Family Health Line at 1-800-451-2229.
An essential part of starting and running a business is managing cash flow. This involves not just generating sales revenue, but also securing financing, handling expenses, and ensuring there is working capital in order to reinvest. At SCORE, we offer advice and can direct you to resources to help address these issues. Since 1964, SCORE has helped more than 11 million entrepreneurs and small business owners. We provide free one-on-one mentoring, a library of online information, and a series of timely webinars. Go to jacksonville.score.org to see how we can assist you today.
People are still hesitant to come to the shop.
We built a place that people could come and join and meet each other and talk to one another.
Small businesses are the heart and soul of a community.
Hi, I'm Representative Kat Kamak. During these times, it's important to support your local small businesses. They are the core of our communities and keep us connected.
This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Now is the time to get an estimate on replacement windows. American Window Products of Jacksonville is a high-volume dealer offering a huge selection of products to keep your costs low. New windows from American Window Products can lower your energy costs and increase your curb appeal and security, all without breaking the bank. Call American Window Products for a free estimate at 904-667-0873 or visit AmericanWindowProducts.com.
Hey, we get it. You don't want to be hearing a Progressive commercial right now, so let us tell you something you do want to hear. You are intelligent. You make all the right decisions. You were smart before smart was cool, and you made it cool again. You have a wealth of knowledge, and you are so very clever. I bet you already knew I was going to say that, you genius. There, don't you feel better? You'll also feel better when you hear you could save big when you switch to Progressive. But I'm pretty sure you already knew that, too. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
You're always up for some fun with the family, so you order the essentials, a new board game, some baking supplies, and even a new projector for outdoor movie night. And with the Bank of America customized Cash Rewards credit card, you can choose to earn 3% cash back on online shopping, which could increase to up to 5.25% as a preferred rewards member. Rewards which you can put toward an extra treat that everyone will enjoy, like an old-fashioned popcorn machine. Visit bankofamerica.com/more rewarding and apply now. Copyright 2021 Bank of America Corporation.
I built a really nice house, but I didn't realize how big it was until you start putting crutches on. Yeah, there were times where I had to take breaks, but I tell you what though, there's a point in time where my triceps got pretty jacked. So that was a lot of fun. I built.
That's Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods, awkwardly funny at sometimes during news conferences, but Tiger Woods met the media, talked about his golf future. We're going to get into that in just a moment. Brent Martineau, Josh Scobie, Austin Lane. It's so good to have Zach Miller on. I think it's really cool to see you guys interact with him as well. You can tell how proud of him you guys are, and he went through a lot, man, in that stretch, and you guys all have at times in your career, but really fun. If you missed the interview, go back and check it out on the podcast. You can subscribe to Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. You can always go check things out on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and just go watch the show. Subscribe on YouTube, if you will. But that was a lot of fun with Zach Miller. Right now, we have our Florida Sportsman Fishing Report. Captain Rick Riles, thanks for checking back in. Sorry, our interview went a little long, but hope you're doing well.
Oh, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm not sorry at all it went a little long. But I do have a question while you got Josh and Austin there. Real quick before we do the fishing report. Joel Smengi is a dear friend of mine, and I asked him one day, I said, do you have any idea what guys like me would give to run out of the tunnel with 80,000 screaming fans in front of you? He said, what are you talking about? And I said, well, I can't imagine what's that like. He said, did you play Pop Warner football? I said, yeah. He said, when you ran out, were your mom and dad and sister and brother in the stands there cheering for you? And I said, yeah. He said, it never gets better than that. He said, that's all we're trying to do is recreate what we found when we were 12 years old. Is that true?
That's the best way to put it, I think. Yeah, I mean, I've told this story before. I mean, my very first start was in Dallas in front of 80,000 people booing me. And my first MMA fight was in a honky-tonk place in Jacksonville in front of maybe 100 people. And I got more of a rush and more of just like it's an adrenaline spike from that honky-tonk than I did in Dallas. So I think it's all relative.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. Hey, guys, it was a good day today. Oh, my goodness. I just talked with Captain Robert Johnson, Jr. He's steaming home on the Jody Lynn and fished a little late. Why? Well, because he's got 16 tunas, 8 mahi, and a sailfish for the day, and that is one fine day's fishing. So that's and a partridge and a pear tree. So that was very good. Close to the shore, the triggerfish bite's pretty good in about 130 feet of water, and there are scattered sailfish in there. You come inshore, and it's all about fish and more black drum showing up as our water temperature drops. Looks like we're in for a good day tomorrow and a good day on Thursday, but there's one thing you can count on. We'll be back tomorrow with another fishing report brought to you by CSS Landscaping. They're paying top dollar for top landscapers and Workman's Quick Fix Plumbing. Thank you, boys.
Thanks, Captain Rick. Appreciate you hanging around today, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow, each and every day.
You got it, Brent.
On Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690, Florida Sportsman Fishing Report. Jacob's out and about today. Josh's son. Got a little baseball tonight?
Yeah. 6:30 to 8:30 practice tonight.
2 hours, huh? Really getting that practice time in. I like it.
Up, baby.
Yeah. On a school night. Thanks, coaches.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Appreciate that.
School, it's secondary, Jacob. Don't worry about it.
NIL, man, NIL. You're all good.
That's right. Get the TikTok followers up as quick as you can. You have a good holiday?
We did, yeah. Went and saw my family in Texas, and, and we didn't have any strange arguments, so it was good. Good time. That's always the goal at Thanksgiving.
I mean, what is the percentage of that? Like,
it's got to be over 50% where there's some type of argument, and a table is broken. Argument is had.
Feelings are hurt.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Everybody says it's like this hallmark way to do it. It's like, hey, I can't wait to go be with family. It's awesome to be with family. But let me ask you this question, everybody. Is it really that awesome to be with family?
Nope. I'd rather be with people that if we get an argument, I'm okay with us disagreeing.
Yes.
When you disagree with your family, then, things can be broken apart that you've established since birth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And by the way, again, you didn't pick to be there. You have to be there.
Correct.
Yeah, you have to show up.
Yeah. If I don't want to go over your house because I don't want to hang out with you after the radio, I don't have to
Thanks,
do
Brent.
it.
Appreciate that, man. Wasn't going to invite you anyways, but it's all good.
I know, but I don't have to go get that prime
for
rib.
sure. Oh, I mean, you missed out on the prime rib, by the way, but okay.
By the way,
Josh, prime rib. We'll see you later, turkey. I'm off turkey. Prime rib all day.
I would much rather have prime rib.
Thank you very much.
Turkey is overrated.
Thank you very much.
They need to do that at games, overrated.
Yep.
Well, you didn't miss the Jags' offense being overrated while you were gone.
I did not. He actually, my son over here hitting golf balls, had baseball, so I fortunately only got to listen to it.
God bless you.
Yeah.
In the press box. But, hey, they had French toast sticks that went extra hard in the paint, so it was good to have French toast sticks there.
At least something was good.
It was good. Yeah.
Hey, you're a Tiger Woods guy, and Austin loves it. We'll talk a little wrestling just because we get a little Tiger in here.
Yes.
But Tiger's done. And he's basically saying, hey, you're done, and I have to come to grips with this. I thought I'd take this a little harder, to be honest with you, Josh. I'm okay with it. Tiger gave us really everything we could ask for in his career, but he gave us something else. And I know he was doing it kind of for himself and for his kids, but he actually did it for, ours. When he won the Masters and he won the Tour Championship, he gave us a little sense of what Tiger Mania was like that we couldn't even describe to our children. Right? They would have to watch it on YouTube, but you have to almost feel it in the moment. And that's what he gave to us when he won the Masters and he made that comeback. And I'm not sure I really need that again. He did it. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we would like him to come back and play, but even, the Tiger before, whenever he won the Masters a couple years ago, he wasn't the same player. That's basically
true.
One of the or maybe the only major that he could ever win again, just because of the type of golf course it is and the field size and the type of players that are in that tournament. But like you said, I mean, Tiger gave us everything that we needed as golf fans throughout the years. And, I mean, it was a 20-year career of shots, amazing recovery shots, amazing wins, countless wins. I mean, just ridiculous golf. And if you're not a Tiger fan, you're not really a golf fan. And there are probably the few and far between guys that aren't Tiger fans. But I'm just glad, seeing the press conference, I'm glad that, number one, he didn't lose his life.
Yeah.
Number two, he didn't lose his leg. And he'll actually be able to play some competitive golf again at some point.
Yeah, he'll go win senior tour events probably.
Yeah, to me, it's all about, I need nothing else from Tiger Woods because my childhood was enough. I didn't need Michael Jordan to go play for the Wizards to justify, my time growing up with you. I don't need Tiger Woods to win his last Master to justify my childhood of me being a fan of golf only because of him. Sorry, David Duval. You had some cool shades, but you weren't moving the needle for me. Sergio Garcia, same thing goes for you. It was the Tiger Woods show. So, yeah, the guy's given the sport of golf so much. I'm thankful for that. I'm a casual golf fan because of it, and I need nothing else from Tiger Woods just to live your life and be healthy. It's all I need.
You know what's interesting about what you said there, how much would we love for our kids to come to see Michael Jordan play again? He couldn't at the level because we know the age doesn't qualify, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like what Brady has done is allowed a different generation to watch greatness, where most guys would not have given them that opportunity. I mean, you're retired at 38 or 39, or your best football's behind you, Ben Roethlisberger or other, right? And so when you play that long and have that much success, it's highly doubtful you can do it through another generation of watching it. And so I guess that's why the Tiger thing was it. Brady's kind of done it because he's done it with longevity and no interruptions, or maybe 1 year of an interruption. Tiger did it in terms of this big layoff, and nobody thought he could do it again, or not nobody, but few, and he did it. But a guy like Jordan, unfortunately, when we have the LeBron and Jordan and all those conversations, we can't say, hey, kid, watch this.
No, for sure. But I'm going to say this, though, and you're absolutely right. There's probably never been another Michael Jordan that my son can watch and cheer for, right? There's not going to be another Tom Brady that you can admire and say, wow, this guy wins so much. But at the same time now, this next generation coming up, you have social media. So you're closer to the athletes than ever before.
That's a good call.
My son's a big Bucks fan, obviously, because like I am. He's a big Giannis Antetokounmpo fan. So my son, I show him on Twitter, hey, look, Giannis is giving away his shoes again or his jersey, and this is like a nightly thing. So he gets to see what kind of person Giannis Antetokounmpo is. I didn't know what type of person Michael Jordan was. All I knew is he was the ultimate competitor, and he was a winner, and he was a champion. So while you may not get into Michael Jordan, you get to see who these athletes truly are. And I think Giannis is a great role model for my son. There's other guys out there as well.
Yeah, that's a good call, too. And by the way, it was probably better at times we didn't know early Tiger Woods and Michael Jordan.
This is true.
In that way.
Yes.
It's probably a good thing that there was not social media back in those days. And, everything evolves. And as an athlete, you have to evolve with the times. So it's probably a good thing that there was not Twitter or Facebook or Instagram back when Michael Jordan was playing, because we would have seen a lot of videos and pictures of him in casinos and Tiger, with all the things that he was doing. But,
So, and to prove Josh's point here, it makes me appreciate LeBron James so much more, because with Michael Jordan, he's the GOAT. In my opinion, he's the GOAT. He's the best player to ever do it. But to live in the time that LeBron James has, and in terms of social media, now I get there's some controversy with LeBron James, and there's going to be some. But to be in the position that you're at, on the pedestal that you're at, being LeBron James, and to never really slip up, and to never really, kind of get called out and get, canceled, whatever you want to call it, it's amazing.
It really is.
Yeah. Because, you think of any professional athlete, they've had their come to moment with social media, it seems like, regardless of who you are. LeBron James, I feel like, really hasn't had that.
No, he hasn't. I think he's the ultimate star athlete because of that. When you can lay out that kind of conversation.
Yeah.
And now, listen, everybody's going to pick apart and he's not afraid to say what he wants to say.
Sure.
And that's certainly open for discussion and criticism, but not in the sense that we're talking about with some of these other athletes where we would see their life unfold in front of us this day and age. I always say that about Derek Jeter. He stayed off the back pages. How? We know he was doing
He
stuff.
was in the back.
Especially with that dating history? With that dating history, too?
I know.
Man.
He was in that back.
But
impressive.
in New York, he was an 8-second soundbite and never on the back pages like that.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. It's hard to do.
It wouldn't be able to happen now with Derek Jeter, Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan. It would be out in the open. And those guys are so private. There's a reason Tiger has his yacht.
Yeah.
What's
Privacy.
the name of it? Privacy.
Yeah.
So it's because they want that. They need that. And it just wouldn't be possible now if they were in their prime.
Didn't Jeter date Madonna?
Probably
so.
How do you stay off the back pages dating Madonna?
I think, didn't he? And
it goes
I think
to show
Alex
you.
Rodriguez did.
Oh, well, there you go.
How about that?
Yeah.
A lot of people did.
Yeah.
Oh, Can't we talk about Madonna?
Yeah.
Can't wait to watch the ESPN 30 for 30 about that one.
One quick question.
She got around the locker room.
I don't know if you guys saw it. Did you see the end of the Seattle game? Onside kick.
I fell asleep.
The guy lined up inside the hashes for the onside. They recovered the onside kick, but he lined up too close to the kicker.
That happens.
That can't happen.
It happens because, I'm going to be nice about this, but not. You don't typically have the smartest guys on the field that are out there for kickoff and kickoff return.
Hey, man.
Sometimes they
special teams take special types of people.
Correct.
That's what my coach. What are we talking? Okay.
Normally there's 5 on left, 5 on right of the kicker. Sometimes they can't even figure out who the L1, L2, L3, L4, L5 is.
Yeah.
So don't be surprised when that happens.
I was a proud L5, Josh. So
you were
easy
L5.
now.
At least you'd be
I was
right
a wedge
next
buster,
to
man.
me.
Yeah, I was a wedge buster, man.
However,
over there.
I will say that I did forget what direction to kick the ball sometimes. It was either left or right, and I forgot a couple times.
Josh Scobie, good to have you back, man. Enjoy baseball practice after you hit a few golf shots here at Top Golf.
Yeah,
Next week we'll do it again. Tuesdays from Top Golf. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Josh Scobie. Good to have Zach Miller. Thanks to Casey Kurtz for everything. And 6 o'clock, Mike Norvell show, maybe one more time. I don't know. Stay tuned on ESPN 690 for all the coverage coming up.